Good morning. How are you today? I'm doing fine. All right. We are here this morning on State of Florida versus Terrion Arnold, case number 26 CF 10977A. I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to state their appearances for the record. We have a remote court reporter, and so she will associate your voices with your names when you introduce yourself. But let me start with, this must be Mr. Arnold, correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Arnold, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
All right, so let's start with the defense counsel. If you want to state your names for the record, your appearances at this time.
Good morning, sir. My name is Harvey Steinberg, and hopefully you'll allow me to appear pro hoc.
We're going to address your motion first thing in just a moment.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor. R. Timothy Jansen. I'm from Tallahassee, Florida.
Mr. Alvarez.
Good morning, Your Honor. A.J. Alvarez on behalf of Mr. Arnold.
Welcome to all of you. And for the state.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kevin Riley, Math, State of Florida.
Good morning, Mr. Riley. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you, Joe.
All right, yes. Mr. Steinberg, you are correct. The first thing that I have is your verified motion for admission to appear pro hoc vice pursuant to Florida Rule of General Practice and Judicial Administration 2.510. I have read the motion. It is well taken and appears to be legally sufficient. Is there any objection from the state?
None from the state.
I'm going to grant that motion.
Thank you very much, Judge.
You're very welcome. All right. So now we can move on to the second thing on the docket this morning, and that is the state's motion for pretrial detention. Mr. Riley, I'm going to turn it over to you at this time. I suspect that you may have some evidence and testimony that you would like for the court to consider.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Steinberg, normally since it's the state's motion, it's their burden, I allow them to proceed, and then obviously I'll give you an opportunity if they call any witnesses to do any cross-examination, and then once they've rested, if you have any evidence that you'd like to put on, I will allow that as well.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. All right, Mr. Riley, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I discussed with the defense. I'd like to enter into evidence that states Exhibit 1 and 2.
All right, just identify it for the record, and then if you want to bring it up to me.
Absolutely. States Exhibit 1 is text message group between, well, the group chat, I guess we should say. And States 2 is the text thread between Ms. Ariana Davalle and Jasmine Randazzo. Defense has reviewed them as well.
Defense, there's no objection to the court receiving these documents at this time?
Okay, so you're following along. He just
All right,
submitted
I will
some text
admit the
messages.
purposes of this hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I call my first witness?
You may.
Thank you. State calls Detective Scott Barnett.
Detective Barnett. He is in the courtroom. If you'll come forward, Detective, to be sworn as a witness. Before you step up, if you'll face me and raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm any testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, Detective. Watch your step. Go ahead, step up there, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. That microphone there, it looks like it's on. It is adjustable if you need to move it closer to you. All right, Mr. Riley, you may proceed.
Thank you. State your name for the record.
I'm Detective Scott Barnett.
And where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Tampa Police Department
And how long have you worked for the Tampa Police Department?
for 22 years.
What is your current capacity?
Right now, I am a delayed latent investigative detective with the Tampa Police.
And throughout your career, explain to His Honor, what are some of the roles and responsibilities you did coming through the Tampa Police Department?
After coming out of road patrol, I was a field training officer. I moved into street anti-crime unit. From street anti-crime, I got promoted to detective. I was a violent crimes detective in our District 1 location. I then got selected and was on the Tampa Police Department homicide squad for 3.5 years. I came out of that back into the latent investigative squad that's in District 2, and my zone is the New Tampa area, which is everything north of USF, Tabasco County.
So I want to orient you to February of 2025. Which capacity reminds you guys what you were in?
Say what?
Or 2026, excuse me.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Your capacity back in February of 2026, this February.
I was a DLIS detective in District 2.
So how did you become involved in this case?
The victims had responded to the Tampa Police Department District 2 office where I work out of, and I was notified of the offense that had happened.
Okay, so you said you met with the victims?
That is correct.
Okay, explain to the judge who the victims were in this case.
There were 3 victims, Jan Lopez, Danny Tenesaka, and Solja Anderson.
All right. And for Daniel, what did he go by that you knew of?
Daniel, he goes by Danny.
Danny. And for Jan Lopez?
He goes by Jan,
Okay. Anything about Mr. Anderson, Soldier?
just Solja.
Okay. That is his legal name?
Correct.
All right. You interview all 3 of them?
I did.
Okay. In the best way possible, try to explain to us, from their point of view and what happened to them, what they explained to you. Where do you want to start?
It starts about a month prior. Mr. Lopez, Jan, is a black truck driver. He owns vehicles, and he is a driver that people hire to transport themselves, their friends, whoever. He's directed to drive around to locations wherever they want to go. He had been hired by Mr. Arnold to be a driver for him. Danny is Jan's good friend. Jan ends up bringing Danny into the fold the more he hangs out with Mr. Arnold and Mr. Arnold's group and the transporting that they're doing, and when they're hanging out in certain locations, specifically Airbnb locations that Mr. Arnold had rented for them to go and hang out at, his friends and everything. We'll come back to Mr. Anderson Soldier. He's not in the very beginning. He's just a friend of theirs also.
Absolutely. So you mentioned a few names there. You said Terrion Arnold. At that time, did you know who Mr. Terrion Arnold was?
No.
Okay. Did you learn who he was after that?
Yes.
Okay. And through the investigation and through this interview with the victim, before we get started on what happened, can you identify some players in the game that you were told by the victims?
They had, besides Mr. Arnold, they had identified a person named CJ, whose name is Christian Williams, a person named Fredo, which is Freddie Hughes, a person named nicknamed Dell, whose name is Lindell Hudson, and another individual named Bokai, who's Bokai Hilton.
Okay. All righty. And was it your understanding that they were friends with Mr. Arnold?
Yes,
And Mr. Arnold's the defendant who sits here today?
that's correct.
Okay. So it seems like he was driving for Mr. Arnold starting in January of 2026,
Approximately.
And now Danny wants to hopefully become some sort of celebrity barber.
Danny does correct.
Orient us now to February 2nd or 3rd of 2026 in regards to what they explained to you.
So, Danny on February 2nd begins getting text messages. Actually, we can back up just a little bit from that. In this entire group associated with Mr. Arnold, Danny, again, is brought into the fold. He begins meeting people in that group, along with Jan. And one of the people that he meets is a girl named Jasmine.
Is that Jasmine Randazzo?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Jasmine Randazzo lives in an apartment with another female. Her name is Ariana DeValle.
Thank you.
My bad, there you go.
Is a text message that Danny receives, I'm sorry, let me back up.
I'm just going to have to object narrative in the sense that the question was, let me orient you to the 3rd, and now we're going back, and it's difficult to.
All right, I'll instruct the witness. Listen to the questions being asked and answer only that question.
So when you're going back to the 3rd, how does this all get set up on the 2nd, as you just mentioned?
On the 2nd, Danny gets a text message from Jasmine saying, hey, why don't you come over?
Okay, that's on February 2nd?
That's on February 2nd. No, that's on February 3rd.
Why are they not releasing the exact stuff, like exact dates, exact times, exact text message?
Them going to the Airbnb. Where's an Airbnb located? Do you get any of that information?
Yes.
Okay. So did Mr. Arnold have an Airbnb here in the Bay Area?
Yes.
Where was it?
In Largo.
Okay. And God bless you. It was Yanni and Danny ever at that Airbnb?
Yes.
When?
In the days leading up to the February 3rd.
Okay. What is your understanding of the relationship of why they were at the Airbnb?
Well, Jan was the driver for Mr. Arnold and his friends and anybody that he wanted Jan to transport to places. And Danny was friends with Jan. And so he was, again, brought into the fold, and he was there and met all the people we talked about, and then began cutting hair for them.
Okay. Now, when does something happen at the Airbnb? When does something go missing?
I believe that was February 1st.
Okay. And from your understanding, what went missing on February 1st?
A large amount of property belonging to Mr. Arnold, property belonging to Fredo, and property belonging to Bokai, and property belonging to a cameraman that was hired by Mr. Arnold to film content.
Okay. And how did you learn that these items were actually taken?
Those people who had the items taken reported it to the Largo Police Department.
Okay. And you were able to review that report?
Yes.
And that's how you're able to testify here to court today?
Correct.
Okay. What did Yanni tell you happened after, or I should say, did anything happen after they went out to Ybor City on one of those nights in the first week of February between Yanni, Danny, and the group? Anything negative?
No, nothing negative. No.
Okay.
They were all hanging out. They had become part of the group with Mr. Arnold and all the guys. Instead of just being hired, they became part of the group, kind of like friends also, and hung out.
Okay. There was, other than obviously we'll get to what happened, but there was no conflict, no issues, no bad blood at all when they were going back and forth from Ybor to the Largo Airbnb. Is that right?
That's correct.
When does the conflict start? And when, I think that's where you're going with the text messages, or Danny might have received one. When does the conflict start?
The conflict starts when Danny receives the text
leading the
message
witness.
from Jasmine saying, "Hey, come over."
Okay. And you spoke to Danny. What did he believe this was to be?
He believed that he was going over there to have sex with Jasmine.
Okay. And did Danny ever go over there?
Yes.
Okay. Who did Danny go over to the Airbnb with?
He went with Jan and with Soldier.
Okay. Did you ever learn why Danny went with Yanni and Soldier?
Yeah, they're friends and they look out for each other, and they were concerned about why he may be going over there. They were a little suspect about why this girl had suddenly gotten very graphic about, "Hey, come over having sex," when she had never been that way before. So as a group of them, they went to high school together. They went with him to the location.
Okay. And who drove over there?
Danny did.
With, I should say, did Yanni drive the vehicle over there, or did Danny?
Danny did.
Okay. And Yanni's in the vehicle, and so is Soldier?
That's correct.
All right. Danny arrives at Jasmine and Ariana's apartment.
That's correct.
Okay. What do they tell you happens when they get to the apartment?
So Danny and Soldier go up to the third floor. Danny's been there before to hang out, so he knows the location. He has been in constant contact via text message with Jasmine, expecting that she's going to be there. And so Jan stays in the car while they go up and knock on the door.
And same thing again, why does Soldier go up with him to the door if Danny's just going there to see Jasmine?
Just he's looking out for his friend, and just to make sure he's getting there and everything's kosher.
To your knowledge and throughout your investigation, has Soldier Anderson at all been to that Airbnb?
This is a lot of opinion, huh?
To your understanding and through your investigation, did he ever interact with Mr. Terrion Arnold?
No.
Okay. What do they tell you happens when they get to the door?
Nobody answers, but they hear scurrying behind the door, and he doesn't understand why nobody will answer the door. So for several minutes, he's texting and trying to get Jasmine to come to the door, saying he's there and everything like that. And it takes a while, but finally the door opens.
Okay. And when the door opens, who opens it?
Ariana DeValle.
Okay. And what does Danny say happens?
He questions, he's like, "Hey, where's Jasmine?" And Ariana says, "She's not here." And he goes, "She's here. I just got off the phone with her. I'm here to meet her." And so then he and Soldier go into the apartment.
Okay. And when they are in the apartment, did they ever find Jasmine?
No,
Because Jasmine wasn't there, right?
that's correct.
All right, and we'll get to that. When he first gets into the apartment, does he see anyone else in that apartment when he first walks in?
Not when he first walks in.
Okay. Does eventually he meet two other people.
That's correct.
Okay. Explain to His Honor what happens in that apartment.
Not believing Ariana that Jasmine's not there because he just got off the phone with her, he starts looking around the apartment thinking that they're playing games, that she's hiding or something like that. So he begins to look around the apartment for her. He ends up going into one of the bedrooms and he opens up a closet and there are two armed individuals in the closet.
Okay. You mentioned names before, so I want to make sure we are specific. So when he opens the closet, who does he see?
CJ and Dell.
Okay. And what firearm is Dell handling?
Dell has a rifle,
Okay. And CJ?
has a handgun.
Okay. What is Danny's reaction when they come out of the closet with firearms?
Surprise. They immediately come out of the closet and grab him and put him up against the wall and start.
Does Danny at all ever try to plead with them?
Yes.
How
Constantly.
so?
He in getting grabbed and they start yelling at him. They're talking about property of theirs that's missing and give us our property back. We want our property back and everything. And so he's like, I don't have your property. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. And you mentioned Soldier. Mr. Anderson was also in that apartment.
That's correct.
Was he separate and apart from this, or no? Was he now also dragged into this?
No, he's now in the same bedroom where CJ and Dell came out of the closet.
Okay. And is he now being held at gunpoint?
Yes.
And you mentioned about questioning and whatnot. What are they asking them?
Where their property is.
Okay. Because the belief is what?
That they stole the property that they reported stolen to the Largo Police Department.
Through your investigation, to your knowledge at this time, did Danny or Mr. Anderson take any of that property?
No.
Okay. Yanni?
Yanni.
No.
Yanni or Danny? No. Either one.
So, what did the victim explain to you happened to them after they're getting questioned? Where are these items? Where are they and having firearms pointed in their face? Explain to the judge what are the things they are actually doing to these victims.
They're punching them, they're striking them with the weapons, and they're holding them against the wall so they can't leave.
Okay. Does anyone stick a pistol in someone's mouth?
But that comes later.
Okay. So while they're hitting them, pistol whipping them, trying to get answers that Soldier and Danny don't have for them, what does Danny explain happens next?
Well, Danny explains next that Jan shows up.
Okay. Do you ever learn why Yanni came down from the car and went up to the apartment?
He was expecting Soldier to drop Danny off and come right back down to the car. And after several minutes, when that didn't happen, he was like, okay, what's going on? Why doesn't he come back down? So he goes upstairs to find out what's taking so long.
Okay. And when Yanni comes up to the apartment, what does he describe to you he sees?
The door standing wide open and he hears men's voices yelling in an aggressive manner.
Okay. Did he tell you what he was thinking? And then what did he do?
He wasn't thinking, he was thinking something was wrong with his friends inside the apartment. And then Ariana steps into the living room and she kind of motions towards the bedroom like this.
And for
he's
record purposes, you're holding your hand up against your chest, pointing to, the left of you, signaling like, hey, go over here. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Just want to make sure the record's clear. And then does he actually follow that
direction.
direction? Thank you.
Yes.
What does he see when he gets over there?
He runs into the bedroom and he is immediately pistol whipped in the head by CJ.
After he is pistol whipped, does he now become involved in the questioning of where's our stuff, things of that nature?
Yes,
Okay. And the beating continues?
it does.
All right. What happens? What are other things that they do to the victims while they're in that room?
They continue to beat them. They continue to ask where the property, where their stolen stuff is. They end up taking the pistol. CJ takes the pistol and sticks it in Danny's mouth, pulls the pistol out, racks the slide, sticks it to the side of his leg, continuously tells him, we're going to kill you. We're going to shoot you if you don't tell us where our stuff is.
At any time, did Danny, Yanni, or Soldier say, all right, that's it. We know where it is. We took it. At any time did that happen?
No.
Were they consistent that they did not take those items?
Yes.
And is it as simple as the gunman in the room just did not believe them?
Correct.
Miss Ariana Del Valle, while this is going on, is still in that apartment.
She's in the bedroom, yes.
Anything else, or what happens next after they're not getting the answers that they want? Does anyone else show up?
Yes. Fredo shows up.
And that's Mr. Freddie Hughes?
That's correct.
Okay. And do you learn later that Mr. Freddie Hughes was actually with Mr. Terrion Arnold?
That's correct.
All right. And I guess we can go into that for a second. Where was Mr. Terrion Arnold, Freddie Hughes, Boakai Hilton, and Jackson Ridgway?
They were
Foundation. How does he know?
Well, just establish how, ask him if he knows and ask him how he knows.
Sure, absolutely. At that time, or I should say throughout your investigation, or I should say, Freddie Hughes shows up to the house, correct?
correct.
Through your investigation, you learned that Mr. Terrion Arnold and Boakai and Jackson Ridgway were driving down from Tallahassee.
That's
Jackson
correct.
Leading and no
Stated
foundation.
as to leading.
How did you learn they were coming down from Tallahassee?
Well, a couple of different ways. Ariana Del Valle later on testifies that Mr. Arnold, Fredo, Boakai, and the cameraman Jackson Ridgway were all coming down from Tallahassee. They had gone to Tallahassee earlier in the day, and they were now on their way back.
So the car gets to the apartment?
It does.
Okay. Freddie Hughes enters the apartment?
Freddie and Boakai enter the apartment.
Okay. Anyone else enter the apartment?
Jackson Ridgway.
Is anyone armed other than the Ms. Dell and CJ in that apartment now?
Fredo.
Do you know what kind of firearm he had at that time?
A handgun.
Okay. What did the victims tell you happened inside that apartment?
The entire time leading up to Fredo arriving, they had been told by CJ and Dell, wait till Fredo gets here, wait till Fredo gets here, wait till Fredo gets here. And Fredo comes in, and Soldier, not having anything to do with all the stuff that happened before, is like, he immediately pipes up, I don't know what's going on. I had nothing to do with this. And Fredo takes great exception to that and begins beating Soldier. And then
How so? What does he do to him?
he starts punching him with his fist.
Then what happens?
Then all three of them, Fredo, CJ, and Dell, began beating all three of the victims.
And still, does Yanni, Danny, and Soldier maintain that they did not take anything from the Airbnb?
Yes, to the point that Jan, who knows all of them, says, you know me. You know I wouldn't do this. I didn't take any of your stuff.
And from their understanding of what they explained to you, do they believe that?
No.
So what happens next?
Ariana is sitting on the bed. She is using her phone to FaceTime Live it. Additionally, she's texting also. This goes on, the beatings go on for quite some time. And then to a point, they realize they're not getting anywhere with the victims and recovering their property.
Okay. So now you mentioned Ariana is in the apartment, which is her apartment. She's on FaceTime Live. You're talking about the FaceTime
I
app.
can't wait to hear
Apple
Terrion's
iPhone?
the defense attorney.
Not a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live.
That's no,
Completely separate.
completely separate.
Okay. So what is Yanni thinking when he's inside that apartment?
I'm going to object to that.
How do you know what he's thinking?
Or did Yanni ever tell you what he was thinking in that apartment when he was getting beat?
Yes.
What did he say?
He thought they were going to kill him
Why?
because they weren't getting the answers that they wanted, and they thought that they were going to be killed and stuffed in their car and taken somewhere and killed there.
Okay. Did that ever happen?
No.
How were they let out of that apartment?
They were led one by one down to the car downstairs.
And after that, were they free to leave?
They would let them go, yes.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned that Ariana Del Valle was on that FaceTime app or on FaceTime in the apartment.
Correct.
Okay. Did you have a chance to speak with her?
Yes.
And did you further learn of how this sort of started to come together or the plan was developed?
Yes.
Okay. Explain when you first spoke to Miss Ariana Del Valle. Where did you see her?
The first time
Yes.
was when I served a search warrant on the apartment.
Okay. And did you interview her?
I did.
Post Miranda?
I did.
Okay. And then additionally, did she provide a proffer to yourself and Mr. Diaz of my office?
Yes.
And starting from the beginning and how Miss Ariana Del Valle got involved, what did she explain to you of how she got involved with this group of people?
She had met Terrion at one of the clubs and started up a relationship.
Was it that month before, a couple months,
I think it was
earlier?
a couple weeks leading up to the offense.
Okay. And what did she say her relationship was with Mr. Arnold?
They hung out, they were friends, and they had sex sometimes.
And what was her relationship with the rest of the group? So she's with Mr. Terrion Arnold and the rest of the group. Did she have one with the rest of the group?
A little bit, yes, because they were Mr. Arnold's friends, and so she was meeting them and being introduced to them. So she had some interaction with the rest of the group also.
Okay. Where did she explain to you that they normally hung out or she saw Mr. Arnold and the friend group?
At first, it was at an Airbnb that was in Tampa, and then they transferred to the Airbnb in Largo.
Okay. And how many times did you say that she was actually at that Airbnb in Largo?
Several times.
Okay. And as you described before, just to kind of hang out, things of that nature?
Correct.
All right. Did Ariana ever explain to you that she knew that anything was stolen or anything went missing?
Yes.
Okay. What did she say, explain to you?
Her and Jasmine were at the Airbnb, and they had left, and then they came right back. And they were going to come back into the Airbnb, and that's when they were notified, hey, you guys you're not going to come inside here. We have some stuff stolen.
Can you recall who she said notified them that or told them that?
I believe that was Boca.
Do you remember what date that was? When everyone's things were stolen?
I believe that was February 1st.
Okay. After they were denied entry into that Largo Airbnb due to the missing items, did Miss Ariana Del Valle ever meet up with Mr. Arnold and his friends again?
Yes.
Okay. Where?
At the Airbnb.
The same Largo Airbnb?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any discussion with her in regards to the items that were stolen? Did she explain that to you?
Yes.
Okay. What was that discussion?
There was a discussion about the stolen stuff. Mr. Arnold was there. Mr. Hilton was there. Fredo was there. And she advised that Mr. Arnold came into the living room where they all were, and he said, I think I know who stole the stuff. I think it was Jan and Danny.
Okay. Explain to His Honor kind of how the inside of the house is set up and where this meetings take place from how she explained it to you.
Well, it's a townhome that has kind of like a common area that has the living room, dining room, and the kitchen is off to the side, and then it has bedrooms off of that.
Okay. So it's an open floor.
Correct.
What does she say next that Terrion is saying that he thinks he knows who stole their stuff?
He thinks that that Jan and Danny went to the Airbnb while they weren't there and stole the stuff.
From interviewing her, did she say anyone else brought those two names up during that, saying that they were the people that stole it?
Not originally, no.
Aha! There you go.
What did Mr.
Not
Arnold
originally.
say after that?
He said that they should lure Jan
Some bullshit.
and Danny to a hotel and press them for information about where their stuff is.
Okay. Confront them?
Yes.
Why was that an issue? Was that ever made to be an issue?
It was made to be an issue by one of the other co-defendants who told Mr. Arnold, no, that's not a good idea. There's too many cameras at a hotel. We can't do it there.
Did anyone else offer up any alternatives of what they should do?
Yes, Ariana did.
Okay, what did Miss Del Valle say?
Miss Del Valle, Ariana, notified Mr. Arnold, hey, you know that Danny, Jan's friend, Danny wants to get with Jasmine. And by the way, he has been to our apartment before, so he knows where it's at.
And what does Mr. Arnold, obviously you're learning this from Ms. Devalle, what does Mr. Arnold say to that?
They then start concocting the plan of luring Danny to the Airbnb. I apologize, not the Airbnb, to their apartment in New Tampa to confront them about the stolen property.
Okay. Jasmine Randazzo is not in that Airbnb for that conversation, correct?
That's correct.
How does Jasmine get involved with this plan?
So that's now where we get to the third.
Okay.
Jasmine is at the apartment. She's asleep. Ariana is with Mr. Arnold, who instructs her to text Jasmine so that she can set up Danny and lure him to the apartment so that they can be there and confront him.
Does Ariana tell you, or confirm with you, I should say, at that point, with the Danny setting up, who that specifically came from to say, text Jasmine?
That came from Mr. Arnold.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach? States, I think it's 2. Your Honor, I'm handing the witness what's been entered into evidence already as States Exhibit 2. I want to point your attention to page 4503, also for defense counsel as well, the text messages. It's 4,503. We'll go from, or I should say, you just described that Mr. Arnold told Ariana to text Jasmine at the time in which this plan is getting concocted, early in the morning, correct?
Correct.
Does Ariana actually send that text message?
Yes, she does.
What does she say?
She asks Jasmine, "Are you up?"
What time is that at?
That's at 4:50 in the morning.
Okay. So as the conversation's happening at the Airbnb, and Mr. Arnold tells Ariana to text Jasmine, those phone records are from, that you have in front of you,
These are from Ariana's phone.
confirming that that text message was actually sent to Jasmine, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Does Jasmine actually answer that early in the morning?
No.
When does she answer?
She answers at, I'm sorry. We need to back up because I gave you the wrong time on the first one. I read the wrong time on the text message. The text message that was sent from her, Ariana, to Jasmine saying, "Are you up?" was sent at 1:49 a.m. It's not until 4:50 in the morning that Jasmine responds and says, "What?"
Did you speak to Jasmine Randazzo about this case?
Yes.
Okay. Did you learn from her why there was that gap of time?
Yes.
Why was it?
She was asleep. She's not at the apartment. She was asleep.
Okay. And I apologize. Can you restate what Jasmine says when she wakes up in the morning?
She says, "What?"
Okay. I want to go to 8:57:08, a text message from Ariana. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Can you read this to Judge what it says?
It says, "Text Danny and ask him what is he doing later."
What does she say after that?
She says that's it.
And then so this is all Ariana, correct?
Correct.
All right. And what's the next message that Ariana sends?
She says that's what Terrion said.
Then what's the next text message that she says?
The next one says, "Did you do it or you want Celeste to?"
Okay. So what it seems like is that Ariana is rattling off text messages without Jasmine answering that, correct?
Correct.
All right. So it'd be text Danny and see what it's doing later. Jasmine doesn't answer. And that's it. Jasmine still doesn't answer. That's what Terrion said. Jasmine doesn't answer. Do you do it or want Celeste to? Jasmine doesn't answer. Did you learn from Ariana
So they
Or I
need
should say,
Terrion's phone to confirm that.
to go back.
Hearsay won't
While
work.
these are happening, where's Ariana and who she's with? Who is she with?
Ariana's with Terrion.
How do you know that?
At 9:11, Jasmine answers.
Correct.
And what does Jasmine say?
She says, I'll do it.
And Ariana responds?
She says, okay, let me know when you do it.
Okay. Going to page 4,507. Timestamp 9 minutes and 28 seconds. What does Ariana say to Jasmine?
So basically, just try to get him to come over tonight.
And Jasmine respond to that? Not yet.
Not yet, but yes.
And what does Ariana make sure to tell her right after she fires that text off?
Don't be suspicious, though.
What does Jasmine say?
She says, for what? Who you with?
And who does Ariana say she's with?
Terrion.
And what does Ariana say after that?
She says, just do it. It's for them.
And Jasmine replies?
Okay.
Page 4,513. Minute 9:52:57. What does Ariana say to Jasmine?
She says, just be like, okay, never mind, then you're playing.
And Jasmine,
Jasmine says, that's pretty obvious it's a setup.
continuing, what does Ariana say? Or I should say at 10:05.
Oh, at 10:05?
Or, yeah, I apologize. So is there anything else after, that's pretty obvious it's a setup for Jasmine? Or we can skip to 4,515 page.
Yeah, we'll skip to that.
That's fine. So 4,515, 10:05.
Mr. Riley, do you have an extra copy of the exhibits that I can?
I think I do, Your Honor.
That's right, don't worry.
I can be of assistance. I have an extra copy.
You have an extra copy?
Yeah, of course. I figured you might.
Thank you, Mr. Steinberg. I
How may I
appreciate
approach?
it. You may approach.
Thank you, sir. I'll go to 4,015. And this is an unmarked copy for you.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. You may proceed, Mr. Riley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Page 4,515, timestamp 10:05. What does Ariana say?
You already said for yourself what it sounds like.
Jasmine responds.
Why he want him over there?
Ariana.
They're trying to set him up, and he's trying to pay us for it.
We've heard
Jasmine responds.
Wow.
She says, why though? Okay. Is that a yes?
Yes.
And then what does Ariana say?
They stole all the rest of their shit.
Jasmine.
Then why doesn't he just say he needs his haircut?
When you had your discussion with Jasmine, why was she saying to you in the group chat or the text messages to try and get the haircut? What is the haircut? What does that mean?
That's the way that's Danny, because Danny cuts their hair on occasion and everything like that. So they're trying to come up with a reason for him to come over. So they're saying, say that you're going to cut the hair.
Did they essentially do that? The haircut?
No.
Because the plan was still to what?
To lure them to the apartment.
Ariana says after Jasmine says, why doesn't he just say he needs his haircut? What does Ariana say? Read those messages. It's
4518.
4518. We're starting from 1013, where the other stuff they did.
Yeah, the other stuff they did, and they were going to do it at a hotel.
And then Ariana.
But it makes sense to do that, to do it at my apartment, they said.
So these text messages are essentially corroborating the interview that you had with Ms. Del Valle.
That's correct.
On page 4,535. Is that once again at timestamp 114:49? Ariana trying to give ideas of how to Lord Danny over?
Yes.
And what does that read?
It says, tell them that you got something to do so the food wouldn't be done till around 10:30.
And do you learn through your investigation why they're trying to push back the time
hungry now.
for Danny to be at the apartment?
Yes, because CJ and Dell aren't there yet.
Page 4,538, timestamp 20440. What does Ariana say?
One second.
Of course.
Trying to get there.
Me too. I just got there.
I got there too.
Thank you. What does Ariana say? I'm scared.
Yes, she says, I'm scared. I hope they don't kill them.
And what does Jasmine respond to that message?
Perhaps we delete these messages. I'm actually going to get money because I'm going to give it to my dad.
Okay. Page 4,552.
One more time.
4,552. Timestamp 12:35:28. Jasmine says what? Don't hang up.
Don't hang up. Yes.
From your interviews with both these women, what are they doing right now during these text messages?
They're doing two things. During the text messages. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hang on.
Of course, take your time.
What are they doing during the message? Ariana is. I'm not sure what you're asking. I apologize.
No issue. Or we were asking. So you were looking at a text message between Jasmine and Ariana. That's states 2, right?
Right.
Okay. Then there is on states 1 is a group chat between Jasmine, or you explain it. Who's in group chat? Who's in the bigger group chat?
The bigger group chat is Bokai, Hilton, Jasmine, Ariana, and later on, CJ, I think, comes into it also.
Okay. So the original text message, which is states 2, which we have been going over, that is text messages from Ariana to Jasmine, and Ariana filling out Jasmine or telling Jasmine what to do.
Correct.
We are now getting to what you spoke about before, the incident of them being robbed and questioned. In a side chat, we're back to Jasmine and Ariana, correct? It picks back up. So
Yes.
the first part of the text messages is Ariana giving the orders to Jasmine, right?
Correct.
That are coming via Terrion.
Correct.
Right. Then, after they get to the apartment, or while Danny's getting to the apartment, another group chat with more people is made.
That's correct.
Okay. So, on page 4,552, where Jasmine says, don't hang up, and Ariana says, I'm not, has the event inside that Airbnb already started?
Yes, it has.
All right. So to make this a little bit more complicated, I will. Go ahead.
No, sorry.
Okay. States 1.
Let me just make sure I believe Mr. Steinberg, this other stack is a copy of states 1.
I hope so.
It could be.
No. Starts with 6.
Oh, yeah, this is just a continuation of.
That's the rest of
This is the
states
rest
2.
of Stage 2. Do you have a separate copy? Does anybody have a separate copy of Stage 1?
The entirety of states 1.
What's the bait stamp? You've been referring to bait stamps.
It's just, I didn't even get there yet. It's just the entirety of states 1, which is the group chat text message.
Does it have bait stamped on it, sir?
6. Starts with 6.
It appears that the detective has an extra copy. Please show that to Mr. Steinberg.
States one. Okay,
That's why we're asking for the stamps.
I don't think we have it.
we'll take a look.
'Cause I didn't get, I would have brought you a copy. We haven't got it. We just got the second. Okay, here you go.
Got him?
Yeah.
I just,
So that does appear to be a copy of States 1.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And there's nothing additional on this. It's a clean copy, just like the exhibit that was admitted.
yes, that's states what that other defense is.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It should be. That's the exact copy that Mr. Diaz provided to me outside.
All right, thank you, Detective. I appreciate that.
Handing you state one. Okay. States one, remind His Honor who is in, or who starts that group chat.
Bokai does.
Okay. And you ever learn why he starts that group chat?
So that they can, because they're going to turn the volume down on the live stream and they want to be able to communicate with each other. So they start a group chat so they can text in the group chat, but watch what's going on Ariana live FaceTime it.
All right. So we've already gone over the messages between Ariana and Jasmine for the setup. Now we go to the group chat on page 6 of States 1. What is Boakai's first message?
Y'all communicating here.
Okay. The beginning of this group chat, when does it start in the timeline?
It starts at 11:29 p.m. on the 3rd.
So Danny, Yanni, and Soldier are not at that Airbnb yet.
That is correct.
This group chat, does it reflect the buildup until Yanni, Danny, and Soldier arrive at that Airbnb?
Yes.
Yeah, but does it show if Terrion Arnold replied? That's what I want to know.
So Boakai at 11:29:32 says, y'all communicating here. And Jasmine says, all right.
Correct.
Boakai says at 11:30:05. What does he say?
He says, Dell and CJ, text in this chat when y'all are 5 minutes away from the house.
And Dell responds,
10-4.
Dell and CJ.
because you learn from Ariana that they're waiting for them to get to the house because they want to beat Danny, Yanni, and Soldier there, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Page 9. Timestamp 11:33:20.
So if I'm following, this is ahead of when everything went down
What
in the
does
apartment.
Boakai say?
If you FaceTime him, tell him you'll be done in like 20 minutes. Show your face. Do not hide it. And say, my roommate is going to come downstairs to come get you. You can chill in my room till I get there.
Okay. So this is Boakai giving the instructions to Jasmine and Ariana, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you've learned through your investigation, at that time, where is Boakai?
He's in the vehicle with Mr. Arnold, Fredo, and Jackson.
And they are coming back from where?
Tallahassee.
Page 11. Timestamp 11:34:23. What does Boakai say?
CJ, let Dell know when you get there. Go in his car and wait till he gets inside so y'all can both walk in together.
At 11:35:22, what does Boakai say?
At 11:35:22.
Yes. CJ question mark.
Yeah, because CJ doesn't answer. He says CJ with a question mark.
Okay. But Dell liked the previous message.
Yes.
CJ finally answered at 11:37:03.
Correct.
What does CJ say?
He says, just pulled up, fixing to walk in.
Okay. Dell responds.
I'm 11 minutes away.
Okay. Page 14. Timestamp 12:01:44. Boakai says,
Bokai says, Dell, he there?
and then Ariana responds,
Yes.
and she says,
At the door.
okay. And the reason why she knows that is because she's in the apartment.
That is correct.
So she's receiving both CJ and Dell into the apartment.
That's correct.
Okay. Boakai says at 12:01:53, let us know when he's inside.
Correct.
Okay. And that text message, let us know when he's inside. For a reminder, that's because he's in a car with Terrion Arnold and other people.
Calls for
Alleged.
speculation. What he meant by saying that.
Rephrase the question.
Boakai's in a car with who?
Mr. Arnold. Mr.
Doesn't sound
Williams.
confident.
I'm sorry, not Mr. Williams. Apologize. Let me use the nickname so we don't get
Sure.
confused. He's in the car with Terrion, Fredo, Bokai, and Jackson.
And Boakai sends a text message while he is in that vehicle at 12:01:53. Let us know when he is inside.
Correct.
On page 16, Boakai has a statement for 12:02:52, making sure Dell has something. What does he make sure Dell has?
It says, Dell, do you have your FI?
And throughout your investigation, what you've learned, did you understand what that means?
FI, FYE, is a slang for fire, and fire is slang for firearm.
Okay. Page 17. Timestamp 12:06:30. What does Boakai say?
He's instructing Ari to get closer.
From listening or interviewing Ari, orient us back to what she's doing at that point in the apartment. So
She's
why
sitting-
is this text happening?
She's sitting on the bed, FaceTiming the beatdown that's happening amongst the defendants, and Bokai's asking her to get closer with the camera so he can see.
Okay. It's not just so he can see. What is it? What does Boakai say after Ari, get closer?
We can't hear. Turn the camera around.
On page 18, timestamp 12:09:23, Boakai starts giving instructions.
That's correct.
Start reading off at 12:09:23.
He says, get the phones. Get the phones. Put them all in the same room. Keep them in the same room. Make sure y'all get Danny's phone.
And that was from Jasmine, that last one.
Correct.
On page 22, timestamp 12:18:40, Boakai says, more instructions.
Get the password to the phone.
Get all three phones.
I'm sorry. Yes. Get all three phones. Give CJ the phone.
And then at 12:20:13, what does Boakai say in all capital letters?
Say, why was Terrion's phone in Miami?
Through your investigation and your interviews and what you learned, why is that text message important?
Because one of the items that was stole from Terrion was his other cell phone.
Okay. And did you learn about where that cell phone might have been?
Yes.
Where?
It was in the
Miami
Miami.
Foundation. How?
Through
Let's establish how he knows.
your interviews and your investigation.
Yes, through an interview.
I've never heard a judge instruct a prosecutor how to do his job.
Ariana heard a conversation between Terrion and his sister.
What was that conversation?
She called Terrion and said, why are you in Miami? And he said, I'm not in Miami. And she said, well, your phone is.
Through everything that we've gone over before and through your investigation, and to remind everyone, who is the one that first says that it has to be Yanni or Danny that stole the items?
Objection, that's not what the testimony was. The testimony was, I think I know who did it. That was the testimony. All right, repeating question.
Who is the person that brought Yanni and Danny's name into the conversation about who may possibly have stolen the items?
Terrion.
And through your investigation, is it because of that knowledge that you just told us of the phone being down in Miami?
Yes.
Why is it relevant that we know that that phone was in Miami to the person?
Because at the same time, Jan, recalling that he is a black truck service driver, he was driving a wrapper around and he was in the South Florida area at the same time.
Okay. After Boakai says, so why was Terrion's phone in Miami? Boakai after that says another in all caps again at 12:20:21.
He misspells it, but he's saying turn the camera around. Turn the camera around. It was emphasized. And then tell them nobody can leave till Fredo gets there.
Okay. Boakai then says in all caps there at 12:25:01 again.
Tell Dell to take them phones now.
Okay.
And then he emphasized that when he didn't get a response.
Okay. On page 28, Boakai says at 12:32:04.
I'm sorry, which timestamp?
12:32:04. I apologize if I rushed that.
He says, basically, get them from by the door.
And from your interviews with Ariana, because she's there, that is Boakai directing what's happening in the room to all three victims.
Correct.
Boakai says keep them all in the corner.
Correct.
Okay. And then Ariana chimes in on page 31 at timestamp 12:36. What does Ariana say?
I got the phones.
Okay. And then at 12:41:13, it should be on the same page as 31. Ariana sends a text message to the group asking what?
Timestamp again?
12:41:13.
She says, how far are y'all now?
And then read what Boakai responds.
20. Don't say it out loud. That's on page, the first part starts on page 31. The very last box on the right-hand side.
It says, how far are you on now?
Correct.
But the response.
The response is on the next page. It says 20. Don't say it out loud.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was 40. I see it. Sorry about that.
And then Boakai directs Ari again at 12:42:41.
Close the door, Ari, and lock your front door.
At 12:46:25, what does Ari say? She rattles off 3 messages.
I don't have any more messages.
I don't have any more either.
That's fine. No issue.
So just to be clear, that is, you have the official exhibit 1. That was the last page of State's exhibit 1.
Correct.
Can I approach him, Sean?
You may.
Thank you.
Flip to this one.
We'll leave those up there.
Through your interviews with Jasmine and Ariana, or I'll strike that. With your interview with Jasmine, okay, does she say that she is on that FaceTime as well, that group FaceTime, while everything's going down in the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. And what does she say to you that she can actually see on that FaceTime?
She can see that Bokai is driving a vehicle and he's got the phone in the car with him pointed upwards.
And then is she able to see any of the events that are going on to the inside the Airbnb?
Yes.
What does she explain to you that she was able to see inside the Airbnb?
She sees Dell holding one of the victims against the wall in the bedroom.
I want to circle back with Jasmine for a second. Ariana was giving Jasmine's instructions on what to do via text message. Is that right? In the beginning.
Ariana's given Jasmine instruction, correct?
Does Jasmine ever receive instructions from Mr. Arnold himself?
Yes. Through the FaceTime.
We talked about a lot of FaceTimes, so let's organize. Was there a first FaceTime that happened? That the biggest FaceTime is the one at the apartment when the event's going down. That's the second one. We'll refer to that as the second FaceTime. That's the biggest one. But there is a first FaceTime. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. During that FaceTime, or explain, as Jasmine explained to you, who was on that first FaceTime?
Ariana is.
Okay. And who is Ariana with?
Ariana's with Terrion.
You just mentioned a second ago that Jasmine actually received direction from Mr. Arnold. Explain to His Honor how that happened. And how she explained how she received that.
She is conversing with Jasmine, and Terrion is giving instructions, and she's relaying those. And then at some point in time, Terrion is actually talking and giving her instructions.
So Jasmine says to you in an interview that she heard Terrion's voice give her instructions on what to do.
Correct.
And an example, or I should say to stick with her interview, do you remember what she said Terrion was trying to tell her to do?
I can't recall exactly what she said.
To orient you, is it about the luring? Is it about when it's already happening? To lure them in, how to lure, things like that?
It's about the luring. He makes reference something about cooking food, to say that you're going to cook food, to invite him over that you're going to cook food.
Anything about, I don't know, girl stuff, just figure it out? Something like that?
Yeah, basically he's saying you got, what a girl would normally say to a guy to make sure he comes over. Just take care of it. Say whatever you got to say.
And that is coming from Jasmine saying she heard that directly from Mr. Arnold.
That's correct.
Okay. She knows his voice?
Yes.
That's what she told you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And that first FaceTime is earlier in the night.
That's correct.
Okay. That's the planning stage.
That's correct.
On top of all the text messages from Ariana and Jasmine, planning stage.
Correct.
Second FaceTime, that's the group chat that's going on and the FaceTime
While the offense is happening. Correct.
while the offense is happening. Through your interviews, did Ariana or was Ariana able to leave the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. When was she able to leave the apartment?
Several times she left the apartment. Ariana had a group of friends that were downstairs in a car. There were 4 of them. The whole point of them being there was they were there to pick Ariana up because they were going to all go get something to eat. So they were like, are you coming downstairs? Are you coming downstairs? And she kept putting them off, saying that I can't leave yet. They won't let me leave. And the four who are in the car don't know what's going on upstairs. They just know there's other people up there, and Ariana's not willing to leave from whatever's going on upstairs.
Okay. When does she finally leave? And with
After she leaves after the beatdown, but prior to the three victims being led downstairs to their car.
Okay. And you learned from her who picked her up?
Yes,
Who picked her up?
Mr. Arnold, who was still seated in the vehicle downstairs.
You mentioned a name before about someone being inside that vehicle, Mr. Jackson Ridgway.
That's correct.
Okay. Who is Jackson Ridgway?
He is a content filmer. People hire him, and he videotapes and takes pictures to create social media content.
Okay. And he was in the car that night, driving back from Tallahassee with the group.
He went to Tallahassee, drove them to Tallahassee, switched vehicles at Mr. Arnold's house into the SUV, and then he was a passenger in the vehicle as it came back to Tampa from Tallahassee.
Okay. We've heard from Ariana. We heard from Jasmine Randazzo. We've heard from Boakai in his text messages. All about the plan, all about the present sense impression of what's happening at that time. Now, what does Jackson Ridgway give you in his interview in regards to when they're on their way back from Tallahassee?
Bokai is driving. Terrion is sitting in the passenger seat directly to his right. Fredo is in one of the back seats, and Jackson is all the way on in the third row.
Does he mention anything to you in regards to this FaceTime? And we're talking about the second FaceTime now. Anything in regards to the FaceTime happening while in the car?
The Bokai is the one who's on the phone for the FaceTime and is holding the phone and sharing with Terrion, who's sitting to his right.
Okay. So we've heard from Ariana, Jasmine, and now Jackson Ridgway, who's actually in the vehicle, all saying that they were on that FaceTime coming back in the vehicle.
Correct. But Jackson was not on the FaceTime. I'm sorry. Jackson was not on the FaceTime. You said all of them, so I want to clarify. He's not on the FaceTime.
Boakai and Mr. Arnold.
Correct.
What does Jackson Ridgway say is going on throughout that FaceTime? What can he hear?
He hears that they are trying to get somebody to go to an apartment so they can talk to them about the stolen property.
Okay. Did you ask him in regards to any of his involvement in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And what was his involvement?
None. He was hired by Terrion to film content and was just a passenger in the vehicle as they were coming back from Tallahassee. And
Sounds like Terrion was just a passenger.
Complex.
That's going to be some damning evidence right there. Not against TA.
Does Mr. Ridgway, Jackson Ridgway, give you any other information in regards to Mr. Arnold's involvement or knowledge of the beatdown?
I don't know specifically what you're asking. I'm sorry.
That's fine. You asked Mr. Ridgway, since he's there, did he believe that Mr. Arnold knew what was going on?
I'm going to check as to what Ridgway thought.
I'm going to sustain.
Did Mr. Ridgway say to you that Mr. Arnold knew what was happening?
Again, objection. This is just a way of getting around. He's basically saying, did Ridgway say, I thought that Arnold knew? That's the essence of the question.
Well, we're only at did he say if he knew. So let him answer that question.
Yes, sir.
Did he say that he knew that Terrion knew what was going on the FaceTime?
Yes,
Yes,
because he's in the car with him.
because he's in the car. He can,
No, that's my objection.
It's all right. We're going to stop there. You can make whatever argument related to
Then that also means that Ridgway knew. If he knew, then Ridgway knew. So that means Ridgway should be charged.
move on.
In regards possibly if I moved more, laying a foundation of personal knowledge of what the witness actually told him he observed in the car?
He tried, yeah.
I'll move on. Was Jackson Ridgway surprised, or was he not surprised that anyone was arrested in this case?
Jackson, relevance? Jackson, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I'm going to sustain as to relevance.
Your Honor, if I may, in the argument?
Yeah.
My argument is personal knowledge. He is seeing what's happening in his car, and
Then he
he's
should be
interviewed with
charged.
this detective of his observations and beliefs. Just like if I was in a car and someone was angry, I'd be able to testify and say, that person's angry. Or based off of their actions, they were perceiving or they were looking at a FaceTime. We all heard what was on a FaceTime. His personal knowledge, his observations of what he saw and heard.
And you've established that, I believe.
So, Mike,
You painted the picture of the car, who's in the car, all of that. You can make argument related to that picture that you've created, but as to what someone else thought, I just don't know what the relevance of that is.
well, I understand what he thought, and I
So far, the
think
judge
the
is
step
okay.
further I'm going is to another statement. So I'm going to try and rework it that way. But I just wanted to make sure I'm not trying to circumvent that. It's just the personal knowledge from the witness in the vehicle. So I'll restate my question. Did Jackson Ridgway I'll put it this way.
It should be,
Was
did Jackson Ridgway
in that
see
vehicle?
Terrion watching the FaceTime?
He did tell me he was not asleep.
So he's wide awake?
Yes, he was.
Correct. He was able to observe, he told you, observe and hear the things that were going on in that vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. He made note of those things?
Mental note, yes.
And then when you interviewed about it, he recalled those and explained that to you in an interview?
Yes.
Okay. In his interview, does he explain to you how involved Terrion was in the plan at the apartment?
Yes.
What does he say?
He said that Bokai and Terrion were the two main people who were planning this luring of the individuals to the apartment to find out where their stolen property was.
Is there anything else of note in the investigation that His Honor should know in regards to the lead up, the plan, and the execution of this crime?
I don't object to this only question. This is like, hey, what did I forget to ask you?
The only other thing that we would touch on is the Ariana leaving the apartment and who overheard her get into the vehicle also.
That's
And-
right. Glad I asked a clarifying question. When Ariana gets down to the apartment,
Down the vehicle.
or down, yes, or gets down there, what does she say? Or does she have a conversation with Terrion Arnold?
Ariana does, yes.
What does Ariana tell you that Terrion Arnold told her?
She gets into the vehicle. Terrion is now the driver of the vehicle, or in the driver's seat of the vehicle, and he says, basically, I got to get you out of here. It's too hot here.
And that's corroborated also by Jasmine, is that not?
That's correct.
Explain to His Honor how that is corroborated by Jasmine, that statement.
Jasmine is not at the scene. She's getting her hair done, but she is on the second FaceTime Live, and that FaceTime Live is still open when Ariana gets into the vehicle and she overhears somebody that she knows as Terrion's voice overhears Terrion say basically the same thing, that, hey, you're coming with me. I got to get you out of here.
Okay.
Which is additionally corroborated by Jackson Ridgway, who's also in the vehicle.
I passed the witness.
All right, let's go. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
We've never met. It's my pleasure, sir. I have a few questions, okay?
Sure.
First off, have I got this right that this was a situation where there were two robberies? Remember Fredo saying when he got back, there was the initial robbery where things went missing, and then there was a second robbery where
Burglary. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes.
I
there-
use the word robbery in, just layman's terms.
Right. That threw me off. There were two burglaries that occurred from the Airbnb. That is correct.
And so we're aware the Airbnb had a alarm and had a code, correct?
That is correct.
And there was no evidence of any forced entry or anything else, correct?
Quite the opposite.
There was evidence of forced entry.
No, there was not forced entry. I'll let you go ahead.
So someone would have had to have the code to get into the place and take things, correct?
That's correct.
And there were a limited number of people who had the code, correct?
That is incorrect.
Well, the code wasn't given to everybody. It was given to a limited number of guests, including the alleged victims in this case, correct?
It was apparently given to a great number of people, to the point that in a 24-hour period, when they downloaded that code system, there
Yeah.
were over 100 entries in 24 hours.
But we don't know if those were the same people coming in and out.
That's correct.
So you're not telling the judge there were 100 different people. You're just saying there were 100 entries, meaning multiple people, or maybe one or two people coming in and out regularly, correct?
Possible, yeah.
All right. Now, the people who had the code were, for sure we know Dan had the code, correct? The haircut
forced
guy?
entry.
I don't know if Dan had it. I don't know if I ever asked him that. I know that Jan had it.
Okay, Yanni had it for sure.
Yes, sir.
And one would assume since Yanni and Danny were close friends, Danny would have it, correct?
We could assume that.
And then what prompts this, in terms of my understanding, is there's some suggestion that Mr. Arnold's phone is in Miami, correct?
Correct.
And we know that Yanni's an over-the-road truck driver, correct?
Not quite accurate. He is not an over-road truck driver. He owns a SUV, and he is a driver. He gets hired to drive people around.
We knew he was in Miami. There was some suggestion he had gone to Miami during this time frame.
That's correct.
Okay. So in response to that, Mr. Arnold says, I think, and those were the words, I think I know who did this, correct?
Words of that sort, yes.
And that's because the only item that was taken from Mr. Arnold was his phone, correct?
No,
You were
that's not-
told that, you weren't told that by the witnesses?
that the only item was taken was his phone?
It's from Mr. Arnold.
No.
Okay. So we do know his phone was taken, correct?
Yes.
And we do know his phone winds up in Miami, correct?
Correct.
And we do know that Yanni was in Miami in this time frame, correct?
Correct.
And we do know that as a result of that, Mr. Arnold says, I think I know who did this, correct?
Correct.
If I got that all right.
That's correct.
And we spent a bunch of time on luring. You know, you use that word multiple times, right?
Yes.
But I want to get this in perspective. There had not been a falling out prior to February 2nd between Danny, Yanni, and this group, had there?
No.
They were still friendly, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, Danny would come over and cut hair, correct?
That's correct.
And Yanni was still driving, correct?
Yes.
So there was really no need to lure anyone anywhere, because they could have said, hey, come over, and confronted them, correct?
They could have.
And there's no question that in terms of doing this surreptitiously, Yanni and Danny knew the people who were in the apartment who did this, correct?
No, we don't know that.
Well, you don't think, no, I'm not talking about the burglary now. I'm talking about to them. When they knew who CJ was, correct?
Correct.
They know who Fredo was, correct?
Correct.
They know who was the other guy that was there?
Dell.
Yeah. So the victims knew all these people, right?
Yes.
So we know there's no need to lure them, and we know there's no benefit of doing it in an apartment, because in terms of identification, they can all identify each other, right?
Correct.
If I got all that right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, So I'm also clear in terms of Mr. Jackson. You interviewed him twice, right? At least twice.
Correct, twice.
And the second time you interview him, you basically say, I don't think you were forthcoming the first time I talked to you. Remember telling him that?
Basically, yes.
And so the judge gets a perspective. He went into the place where these guys were being held and beaten, correct?
He did. He goes into the living room. He didn't go into the bedroom.
But he runs up to the apartment, correct?
That's correct.
And so if I got this right, you're saying that he knew these guys were being held against their will, that they were being beaten, threatened with death, and his response is to run up into the room, correct?
He didn't know all of that was taking place.
Well, wait a second. He didn't? I thought he was on the FaceTime. I thought you told us that he was able to see the FaceTime and saw what was going on. So he must have known that.
I never said that.
Oh, okay. Because the truth is, what Jackson told you is he couldn't see the FaceTime because it was too dark. Isn't that true?
That's correct.
So he didn't see anything on the FaceTime, correct?
No, he only saw that they were on FaceTime, but he couldn't see the screen itself to know who was on the FaceTime.
All right.
His attorney's got it.
And he also told you, and even though you tried to get him to say something different, he told you repeatedly that on that ride, and so the judge knows they were coming back from Tallahassee to Tampa. On that ride, Terrion never said a word, did he?
That's not what Jackson says.
Jackson never said that Terrion had anything to do with the second FaceTime, correct?
He said that
Bokai.
He did say that Bokai and Bokai and Terrion were, Bokai is holding the phone while he's driving, Terrion sitting next to him, and they are on the FaceTime, watching the FaceTime.
Now, answer my question. Watching's one thing. I asked you if Terrion had said anything during that second FaceTime, and the answer is he told you Terrion never said a thing.
He did not hear him say anything, correct?
Never said one word, correct?
He did not hear him say anything, no.
In fact, the person who was doing all the talking was Bokai, correct?
According to Jackson?
Yeah.
That's
According
all,
to Jackson.
that's all he can hear because he's in the very rear of the vehicle.
Yeah,
But yes,
there we go.
The majority of the conversation was from Bokai.
All of the conversation in the car was from Bokai. Nobody else said a word, or did they? According to Jackson.
Not that he could hear.
Okay, so the answer to my question is the only person talking in that car is Bokai, correct?
That he can hear, yes.
Well, so we get a perspective. What kind of vehicle was it?
It's a large SUV
And where is Mr. Jackson?
on the third row.
Okay, so he's on the third row.
9 feet.
The first row you've said was Bokai driving, correct?
Correct.
Terrion next to him, correct?
Correct.
Who's in the second row?
Fredo.
Okay, Fredo. Is Fredo directly in front of Jackson?
Yes.
So he's blocking Jackson's view necessarily because he's directly seated in front of him, correct?
I don't know the exact seat, which side of the vehicle. I know driver, passenger, the second row, somewhere on that second row, Fredo's there, and somewhere on the third row I'm sorry, second row is Fredo. Somewhere on the third row is Jackson.
Okay. So it's also clear that Jackson says Bokai is giving all the directions, correct?
Yes.
And he's telling these people what to do to these victims, correct?
He's hearing limited amounts of what's going on. So he knows what's happening. He knows what the gist of the conversation is about, luring somebody that they want them to come to the
limited
apartment
amount.
so that they can go and talk to them about it.
Okay.
Yes. But
Talk to them, right? Talk to them. That's what he said.
I don't know if that's her exact words. Those are my words. I'm surmising that,
Yeah.
that they want to confront them about the stolen property.
Never did he say to you that, in fact, Mr. Arnold ever said to do anything harmful.
I didn't hear the tail end.
Sure. He never suggested that Arnold said, beat him up, do things to him, stick guns at him. Am I right?
That's correct.
Never once, did he?
He never heard them say that.
All he said that he heard Arnold say was, we want to confront them, correct?
Basically, yeah.
And that's because the phone that was taken from my client ends up in Miami at the same time Yanni's there, correct?
Correct. That's my understanding. We weren't able to track the phone. That's through conversation, through the interviews, that's what we were told, that the sister said his phone was in Miami.
Okay. Now, in terms of, obviously, nothing was discussed illegal in terms of having them come over, and I've emphasized this. When Terrion says, let's, quote, confront them, that was the word that was used. He never says, I want you to beat them, you keep them there until we get something done, anything like that.
No, he never says he heard that.
And in fact, let's talk about, I think you said that it was, who was in this text? Was it Ari that was texting?
Ari and Jasmine?
Yeah, the first text. The text.
first one is-
Yeah, the first text.
Is Ari and Jasmine.
Okay. And I think you said at some point that it was Mr. Arnold who was telling her what to text to Jasmine. Am I right? Ari said
Ari's saying that Terrion is directing her what to text and say to Jasmine. Correct.
And are you saying it was only Ari? Excuse me. Are you saying it was only Mr. Arnold? Too many A's.
Right. I think it was only, no, the Bokai was giving those directions also.
Okay. So we get this right. It's not Mr. Arnold alone who's telling her, if you will, to lure, or I hate to use that word. Let's use the word entice, because I think that might be better,
Okay.
given what took place here. To entice them to come over, right? It was Bokai was part of that.
That's correct.
And we don't know who said what, because if you take a look at page 4518 of Exhibit 2, may I approach and thank you. I was going to read it. You mind?
You wanted to go to the...
No, but I didn't, yeah, thank you. I didn't want to do my bidding.
I was closer.
Yes, sir.
Page number one more time.
I have 4518.
Okay.
You see where it says in the middle of it, I don't know, see the middle text?
They did?
Yeah, they did. Meaning she's saying they are the ones who are telling me what to do, correct?
Let me
And then,
jump back a little bit.
here,
give
I'll
the
help you
context
out.
Of what we're doing.
Go back to 4519.
That is 40. Oh, 19?
Yeah.
That's afterwards.
Yes, take a look
Okay.
at 4519. See where it says at the first one, but it makes sense to do it that at my apartment, they said.
Correct.
All right. My point being, we have no idea what Bokai was saying and what Mr. Arnold was saying, correct? In terms of the direction giving for the enticement. We're not able to say who said what. Because she says they. We don't know, right? You follow me?
No.
Okay. There's no way to send. I'll try to lead you down the pathway to heaven. What I'm trying to suggest to you is there's no way to separate out what direction Bokai was giving to Ari versus what direction Mr. Arnold was giving.
Correct.
We don't know who was participating more, Mr. Arnold or Bokai, correct?
In the text messages,
Yes.
the group text messages, no.
And it's fair to say that you believed in terms of what I'm going to call the beating phase, okay? And so we're right. This was a severe beating.
Yes.
Went on for an hour.
Yeah, nearly.
And when did they go to the hospital?
After the whole thing happened, after reporting it to the police.
Did they go to the hospital?
I believe they went to a clinic or went to their doctor or something, yes.
You're not sure, are you?
Not 100% sure exactly.
So as you testify today, you can't tell this court that in fact they had any medical intervention at all, can you?
Well, I know that because of the concussion that Jan suffered, that he was going to a specialist for that for some time, and getting treatment, for that. So,
Question is about that day,
But you're
dude.
saying
That
medical,
day.
I mean,
How about Danny?
consider that.
How about Danny?
I don't believe that Danny went to the doctor.
And then this guy, is it Soljay? Is that how you say it?
Solja.
Soljai.
Solja.
Solja. Am I right that Solja was told he could leave?
He was told he was leaving. I don't recall.
Initially, they said, you have nothing to do with this, you can leave.
I don't believe so.
You sure?
I'm fairly sure.
Okay, let me take a look, because I think we get limited discovery. But I think that in one of the reports that I have,
discovery, that's great.
that there's a suggestion that when he was interviewed, he said that, let's see if I can refresh your recollection, that he was told he was free to leave, but he said, I didn't want to leave. Remember anything like that?
I don't recall that, no.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Because you interviewed these guys shortly after this, right?
Correct.
Okay. You have page 48. Report. That's where it's at. How come I can't find it? It's always frustrating when you're in these hearings and can't find stuff because you want to appear organized, thinking you know what you're doing.
It's all right, I'm not holding it against you.
Yeah, but I'm holding against myself. So now I'm committed to finding this. Here we go. This one I put myself at ease. Who interviewed Sojay?
I believe, got interviewed one time by an officer in the district, and then I got involved and I re-interviewed him.
And do you remember reading that initial interview of him?
Do I remember reading it?
Yeah, the interview of the police officers. I assume he did a report.
Those officers did a report, yes.
And did you read that?
Yes.
And do you recall him saying that he was told he could leave, he had nothing to do with this, but he wanted to stay because he wanted to be with his friend?
I don't recall reading that. If that's part of the testimony that the officer wrote, I'm not going to dispute that, but I don't recall reading that.
May I see if I can refresh your recollection? Okay. It's at page 48 of 383 pages. Although I didn't get 383 pages, I only got like 50. It wasn't fair. But I see if that refreshes your recollection. You see what I actually marked it?
Yeah, I see that. I was just making sure who's
Make sure I
cop.
didn't.
No. I
come up
believe
with a fake-
I believe
fake
this is a
report?
cop. No, I believe this is a copy. I'm looking to see who wrote it.
Okay. Since I struggled to find it, I want to get it out there.
No, I understand. This is actually my report.
No, it's your report. That's worse. So did I quote it right that you have that in your report?
Yes, sir.
What did you put in your report?
You want to start at the top of the paragraph, or
No, just where I underlined it and started because I thought it was important to me.
Dell and CJ told him he could leave, but he was not going to leave his friends in that situation.
Okay, so he was told he could leave. Am I
That's what he's
right?
stating.
And he chose not to. Right?
Correct?
Okay. And I also heard something. Did I hear you say that while all this is going on, Ariana's got 4 people downstairs who are waiting for her?
Correct.
That's huge.
So let me get this right. She's filming a beating, correct?
This is right before, but yes, she is filmed.
And while she's filming the beating, she's telling her friends, hey, wait for me. I'm not ready to leave. I'm confused about
No,
this.
because the beating hasn't happened yet. This is the planning stage. So there's
Right.
planning, and then they get to the apartment and the beating happens. This is beforehand, and they want to go. They go there to pick her up to take her to get something to eat.
And do they leave? Or do they just
do
wait for her?
eventually leave, yes, but they stay for about an hour.
So they wait for her for an hour while all this is going on, right? And she says, hold off, hold off. Have I got that right?
Correct.
Okay.
But they didn't, to their testimonies, they did not know what was happening upstairs. They just knew.
No, I understand.
She had friends there.
I just found it, I'm assuming you found it a little strange that all this is going on and she's got 4 people waiting downstairs and she's saying, hold on, wait for me. Didn't you ask her why she would do that?
Yeah, well, the plan was she works with a lot of them. Their plan was to go get something to eat, and then this planning stage happened, and they're like, you basically you're part of this. You need to do the text messages to Jasmine. So she can't, she keeps trying to leave, but they won't let her leave. So she keeps going downstairs and telling them, hey, just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. And finally she says, here's the money, go get some.
When you say they won't let her leave, they let her leave to go downstairs to tell these people. She wasn't held hostage.
No, she's not held hostage. They won't let her leave the area.
She could have left any time. She just,
Absolutely could have left.
okay. And so we're also clear, were they going to get paid?
That was their understanding, yes.
And they never said Mr. Arnold was going to pay him, did they?
Yes, they did.
Really? And so did anyone ever confirm that? Is there any text messages that say Arnold's going to pay us?
He did, but they didn't associate, the payment was not, and I want to make it clear, the payment was not associated with what was happening. Ariana was supposed to go to work the day before or whatever, and Terrion was basically like, no, don't go to work, I'll pay you for the day. So he paid her for that day. But then when the whole thing was happening, there was a discussion about, oh, you may get some money, and that's what she relays to Ariana, hey, we're going to get paid for this.
Right, but so we're clear, and I don't want this judge to get confused.
Right.
Arnold didn't pay her for the actions. He had paid her to stay with him the day before.
To their testimony, they said, no, they did not get paid for the actions.
Okay. Now, you interviewed Jasmine, correct?
Correct.
And so we're clear, and let's put it in perspective for the judge. She was 19 at the time, correct?
Correct.
And am I also right that the interview starts, and I'm talking about when there's a sworn statement. Remember that? Took a sworn statement from her along with the government's lawyer?
Correct.
And that took place at the jail?
No, sir, that took place at our district office.
Okay. Am I right that she was told at the beginning of the interview, hey, we've done this, what do they call it, schedule or sheet that says you're looking at 26 and a half guidelines. Okay, just like feds. That you looked at these guidelines and you told her, or I should say Mr. Diaz started this interview by saying, hey, you're looking at 26 and a half years to life. Remember that?
We're talking about Jasmine, not Ariana, correct?
Yeah, so you did it with both of them.
Correct.
So let's start with Jasmine.
So I just want to make sure what we're talking about. Are we talking about the proffer with Jasmine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're talking about the proffer.
So yes, there was a guideline sheet that the state attorney's office uses, and it shows what she scores.
We start this interview with this 19-year-old young lady, and we say, hey, look, just so you know, you're looking at 26 and a half years minimum up to the rest of your life in jail.
That's correct.
But you can help yourself.
Correct.
You can help yourself by becoming a witness, right?
Sure. If she chooses.
No promises are going to be made to you. But remember, 26 and a half years. Right?
Correct.
Okay. During that interview, and this is what, the third time you've spoken with her?
Once at the scene, once at the district, and then the proffer. Yes. And I apologize. I misspoke because I thought we were talking about a different one. This did not happen at my district office. This happened at the jail.
I thought so, but I didn't want
I was confused on which interview.
That's
we were talking
okay.
about.
I thought it was interesting that you would bring her out, but what do I know? So, I want to be clear. There are three times, and the first time, so the judge is aware, you believe she lied through her teeth.
No, which is why she wasn't arrested that first. The first time I talked to her was at the apartment complex when I'm talking to Ariana at the search warrant.
And so Jasmine told you the truth at the apartment complex?
She didn't give all the information. We had to discover that.
Yeah, well, she basically said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Basically, she tried to say that she wasn't there.
She wasn't there. I mean, that's when you say all the, in terms of Jasmine, she absolutely wasn't there.
Correct.
And she basically says, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't entice anyone to come over. I didn't do anything, right?
She tried to say that at first, yes.
Okay. Now, at the third meeting, which is at the jail,
Correct.
After she's warned that she's looking at 26 and a half years to life. And when did that take place? Do you remember the date?
March. I don't know the date off the top of my head. Sorry.
Let me see if I can help you with that. I think it was around March 20th of 2026. Does that sound right?
It's possibly right. It's in March. I'm pretty sure hers was in March.
All right. I have a little sheet
Correct.
that says March 20th to 26th.
Correct. That's the transcript.
And so she's been in jail for how long at that point?
A month. Just
A
over
month. Okay. And and it's clear that you guys, and so we're aware, and so the judge is aware. Obviously, Mr. Arnold's been out this whole time from, say, February 3rd when this event occurred until his most recent arrest, which took place within the last few days, right?
Correct.
So the better part of, help me with the math, I'm thinking we'll say 4.5 months,
Yeah, that's close.
maybe closer to 5. I'm saying February, March, April, May, June, yeah,
4.5.
almost 6. No. We got all of February, March, April, May, and we're almost at the end of June, so it's 5 months. Okay?
Right.
And during that time, so this judge is aware, there's been no evidence that you've uncovered that he's tried to intimidate any witnesses, correct?
Correct.
There's no evidence that he's tried to contact witnesses and influence what they had to say, correct?
Correct.
There's been no attempt by him to flee that you're aware of, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you were aware that when we were contacted and told that there was a warrant out for his arrest, he arranged for his surrender, I think within 24 hours,
Pretty close. Yeah.
right?
Correct.
So in terms of a flight risk, you don't think he's any type of flight risk, correct? You have no evidence to suggest that based on the fact he stuck around for 4 months and was told that he was going to, and I want to say 5, give me that license, and was told, hey, there's a warrant out for your arrest. He immediately turned himself in, right?
That's two different questions.
All right, let's do the second one. If I got everything right, that in fact that he knew about this, he knew there was an investigation, correct?
Oh, yes.
And he stuck around for 5 months, correct?
Correct.
And turned himself in within 24 hours of being told, hey, there's a warrant out for your arrest.
That's correct also.
Okay. Now, we have no evidence
You
that he
asked me whether or not
I didn't, I'll ask the questions. You don't get to ask me.
Well, you did ask the question.
I withdrew it
Okay.
because I don't like your answer. It's self-serving, that's all. In terms of intimidation, attempt to influence, interfere with the judicial process, you would agree you have nothing to suggest that took place during those 4 months, 5 months, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, we're going to go back to the proffer, all right? So during the proffer, she, and this is Jasmine, so we're on the same page, okay? Jasmine said it was Bowtie Hilton who was giving the directions, correct?
Okay, Hilton, yes.
It wasn't my client, Mr. Arnold. She never says that, does she?
Does Jasmine say that he was not giving direction?
Yes, she says it was Bowtie that was giving all the directions.
Predominantly, yes.
And so we're clear, you did a couple search warrant affidavits, did you not?
Yes.
And in those affidavits, you swore that you were telling the truth, which you were, correct?
Correct.
And in those affidavits, both of them, I think you did one for the apartment, correct?
Yes.
And then did you do one for phone records too?
Yes.
And am I right, during those sworn affidavits, you say that it was defendant Hilton joined the live stream to watch and direct actions against the victims. Those are your words under oath, correct?
Is this for the cell phone?
Yes.
That was written by another detective, but I approved that, yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They wouldn't do it. You're the lead guy.
Correct.
This is your case. Nothing happens without your approval.
That's correct.
All right. So in there, somebody with your assent said defendant Hilton joined the live stream, and so the judge is aware this is the second live stream, correct?
That's correct.
To watch and direct against actions against the victims, right?
Correct.
And then it goes on to say, defendant Hilton gave directions to defendant Valley to turn the camera towards the actions occurring and to get closer so he could hear what was being said and that what victim, and told them to take the victim's property, right?
Correct, that's what's said, yes.
And nowhere in there, and you're welcome to review it, nowhere in there do you say, hey, Arnold was there listening too, do you?
Bingo!
And you guys, Arnold's the trophy in this case, And you guys were after Arnold from very early on in this investigation, weren't you?
I was after anybody who was involved in it.
Including Mr. Arnold.
If he was involved, yes.
Okay. And when you were interviewing Jasmine, you would agree, she says she doesn't remember him saying anything, i.e., Mr. Arnold.
Correct.
And the only thing she thought, and this is based on the messages we've gone over with the court, is that she thought that Mr. Arnold wanted to, quote, the word he used, confront these people about the theft. Correct?
Yes.
And she also emphasizes that it was always Mr. Bokai Hilton directing actions.
Through his phone, yes.
And I think you even asked her if she could see whether or not Arnold was there, and she said, I don't know. And she said, I think he was because Ari told me that. Remember that?
Yes.
So she didn't even know whether he was in the car when all this stuff's going on until she says Ari told her that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in terms of Jasmine, she obviously changed her story, right? From the first time where she said, I don't know anything, until the sworn statement.
Correct.
But at no time does she ever tell you that Arnold told her to do anything illegal, improper, correct?
Did you say anything illegal?
Hurry up, make something up.
Does she ever say that? I'm sorry, I'm right, aren't I?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
If
Basically.
you don't include. Yes.
All right. Now, the next young lady we interviewed was Ariana.
Ariana.
And I think her last name is pronounced Del Valle?
Devalle.
DeValle. Excuse my
All right.
accent. All right. Now, she also says, so we're clear and so the judge is clear, that it was in fact Bokai Hilton that was directing all her actions.
The actions were being directed through Bokai's phone. Yes.
Not only through his phone, by him. By Bokai.
Who she thought was Bokai, yes.
Okay.
Those directions are coming from Bokai. But you and I established already that we didn't know who was directing exactly.
Okay, well, but we do know, I can live with that too, Judge. I'll take either one. So we're clear though, what she says is that it was Bokai, and I've got we can go, I got page 50, 55, 56, 57, where she says it was Bokai who was telling her what to do.
At what point? During the beatdown?
Yes,
Yes.
the entire beatdown. It was always Bokai.
Correct.
It was never Arnold. She never once said to you that Arnold told us what to do when the quote beatdown unquote was happening.
She specifically no, that she could not pinpoint a direct statement that was being made. It was coming through Bokai's phone, and Bokai was with Terrion, and that those actions were being directed to her from.
Bokai was talking. She never heard Terrion talk. Am I not right that during the video where she's FaceTiming the beating, correct? She says it was Bokai who was directing everything. Bokai was the one who was telling her what to do. Am I not
through
right?
the live stream. That was through the texts.
How about through the live stream?
No, they had the volumes turned down on the live stream. They were just watching the live stream.
So Bokai never said a word during the live stream.
No, because the volumes were turned down. They were doing all the communication.
Oh,
through
now
the
I'm
text
really
message.
confused. Because in your affidavit, you swear, and I say you, meaning your guy, to the following. Defendant Hilton joined the live stream to watch and direct actions against the victims. That's what you swore to.
Correct.
Well, how does he direct the actions if he's not telling them what to do?
Through the group message. They're doing two things simultaneously.
Okay, so he's not talking during the live stream.
No.
He's only directing it by texting.
Correct.
Okay. And when you say that once, that's what you mean. And then when you say it the second time, you say defendant Hilton gave directions to defendant DeValle to turn the camera to get closer so he could hear what was being said and then say what should be done. Basically, that's what you're saying, right?
Correct.
It was always Hilton, not my guy. Correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Just for clarification.
Yes.
I want to make sure that I understand.
That's the most important thing here.
Appreciate that, but I don't know. All of the directions were in State's Exhibit 2, which is the text messages between Ariana, or from Ariana's phone. Not in Exhibit 1, which is the live stream.
That's not the last concern. So there were. Oh,
Go right ahead.
Okay. So there are two groups of text messages. The first one is the text messages that are between Ariana and Jasmine. Then there is a group chat that's created by Bokai Hilton, and they all join in to that.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
While the live stream is going on. So we actually had three things that happened. But
I understand.
Thank you. Did you know if there was other people who were watching through Instagram?
no, it wasn't a live stream as in anybody could watch it. They had to join in. So it was just those people who were on it.
That's
so
very
it's kind of like
important.
it's a FaceTime phone call kind of. So where only those people join in.
You're 2 generations ahead of me. I get it, I think. So what she does tell you is the only person she can see on the video when she has FaceTiming this, so we're clear, the only person she sees on the video is Bokai.
We're talking about Ariana?
Yeah. No. We're talking about Ariana. Yes. Don't confuse me with asking me
I'm trying
questions.
to make sure.
I'm not very savvy here. So it's Ariana who's doing the FaceTime. And she says the only person she can see in the car is Bokai.
Yes, that's correct.
She says she never sees Arnold on
See
FaceTime.
anybody else in it? That's
So that would be different than Jackson, because Jackson says he's holding it so both can watch, which would have meant that Arnold would have been on the FaceTime visible to Ariana.
I don't think that's what Jackson is saying. Basically, he's saying he's not holding the phone to himself like this. He's basically holding the phone up, which is corroborated by Ariana saying, most of the time I'm watching the ceiling of the vehicle while Bokai is driving, but Jackson is saying he's holding it in a manner so that the person sitting to his right, who is Terrion Arnold, is participating in that and watching what's going on while Bokai is driving holding the phone like this.
Bullshit.
That's
And then she says when she does see, the only person she ever sees is Bokai.
That's correct.
By the way,
Man,
real quick, in the pretrial motion, they impeached themselves. The prosecutor and the investigator impeached themselves. In the pretrial motion, it says that a group chat
clear,
was
there's
created,
this chat
which was
group, right?
joined by Hilton.
You'll help
It
me
does
out.
not say that Hilton created it, and the investigator just said Hilton created the group chat.
Involve a number of people, right?
Correct.
And you have to join the chat group, right?
That's correct.
When did Mr. Arnold join the chat group?
He on any device he does not.
He never was part of that, correct? In
He
terms
does
of
not use a
joining,
device to participate in the chat group. That's correct.
and so we're aware, we know he had a second phone.
That's correct.
So I don't want the judge to think, well, he couldn't because his phone's somewhere in Miami, but he had a second phone that he could have used to easily join if he wanted to, correct?
Correct.
And you have no evidence that he did that, correct?
That's correct.
And you have these texts, 1 and 2, government's exhibit 1 and 2. How many of those were generated by my client's phone?
None.
Ah! Eat a fat one. I'll be right back.
May I have just one more second, Judge? Oh, there was things deleted. Remember we talked about, I think at one point, Jasmine said maybe we should delete these texts.
Correct.
In fact, there was deletion of texts, right?
That's correct.
But that was done by who?
By CJ and Bokai.
They're the ones who did that, correct?
That's correct.
And they did that with all the phones, right?
With all the phones.
They did it. They took the girls' phones and they did that.
That's correct.
It was
Or they directed them to one of the
right.
others.
They did that, correct?
Correct. What do you mean they?
Meaning either Botak or CJ deleted or directed that these girls delete their phone messages.
That's correct.
think I'm almost done, Judge, if you'll give me a minute. Oh, okay. My learned counsel says that I foolishly forgot to ask you this, and that is that Ariana was less than candid, too, at the scene. When she was contacted by...
Yeah, originally, when I first came into contact with her, yes.
She basically lied through her teeth, to use the term of art.
At first, yes.
Saying, I don't know anything about what you're talking about, I didn't do anything, blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
And you did a search of the apartment, correct?
I wrote the search warrant, other detectives and officers search.
Right, but you've had an opportunity to go over that, right?
Yes,
And there were pictures taken, right?
correct,
And there was one speckle of blood that was found.
correct.
And when I say speckle, what, I mean very, very small.
Correct.
So we have all these beatings that go on for an hour. We have all the, what do they call it when you hit somebody with a gun?
Pistol whip.
Pistol whip. We have all this pistol whipping, but yet the only thing we have is one speckle, which is like a small amount of blood found, correct?
There were none of the victims sustained any lacerations that would have bled like that. Most of them were contusions.
So you're not answering my question. I know you want to cover, but I'm just asking the question. Was there any blood found other than a speckle?
No.
And your explanation for that is they got hit, they got beat, but they didn't bleed. They just got bruised.
Correct.
Okay. And so we're aware, Jackson also had stuff taken, right?
Yes.
And he had his stuff taken in what we're going to call the first burglary, correct?
Second.
Second. I thought it was the first. When he comes home and says, what's taken is my camera, my backpack.
I believe that's the second. As I recall, the first one was Fredo's stuff, and the second one was Terrion's and Jackson's stuff. I think that's
Okay.
the second burglary.
All right. So they all had stuff taken, right?
Correct.
All right. Bear with me, Judge.
I'm sorry?
Just bear with me. Now, Jasmine went to Ariana and said, I want to get paid for what I did. Remember that?
I believe Ariana brings that up first, yes.
And do you remember Ariana tells Jasmine, hey, you got to go talk to Bokai if you want to get paid.
Correct.
It was Bokai who was the person to talk to about getting paid, right? That's what she says.
Yes.
Okay. Now, afterwards, so we're clear, and I want to emphasize this, there's no suggestion that Arnold told Ariana what to say.
No.
Not to talk to the police, for instance. Didn't say, don't talk to the cops.
Nope.
Didn't say, if you're contacted, call me. Didn't say, I'll help you get a lawyer. Nothing like that.
Nope.
Yeah. And just so we're clear, this isn't your first, I was about to say rodeo, but that wouldn't be fair. This isn't your first occasion to testify about this case, right? You've testified in Mr. Hilton's case.
We've done two or three other ones.
All right. When it came specifically to Mr. Hilton, you would agree that you testified under oath, and that judge found, by the way, that it was Bokai who was I think he used the quarterback. Remember, did you see the judge's order?
No, I did not.
Okay. But you did testify that, in fact, it was Bokai who directed everything concerning the beatings.
Yes, that's correct.
Never saying Terrion had anything in terms of directing or telling people what to do once those two boys arrived. Or three.
Correct.
I have nothing further, Judge. I do want to ask, well, we'll do that in my case. Thank you.
And
Thank
just
you.
so I'm clear, that reference to an order Is that a reference to the
Detention order.
Yes, I have that for the court, actually. And that's what I was making reference to, because in his order, he uses the term quarterback, which I thought was an interesting. Yeah, he said, it appears that Bokai was the quarterback of this whole situation, and that he goes on to say, you have that? That he goes on to say, quote, quote, this is at page 4 of 7, from the text messages introduced in evidence at the hearing, which are the same, so we're clear. Hilton appears to be the quarterback calling the play. And he talks about, it's always Hilton who talks about the gun, for instance, asking Dell if he had his, what is that, FIE? It was Hilton who asked him if,
It was Hilton's phone, yes.
yeah. He then
That message
instructed.
comes through Hilton's phone,
Right.
correct.
The judge goes on to say, from the evidence presented, ... it appears Hilton orchestrated the kidnapping, beating, and robbery of 3 victims in retribution for their perceived theft of property. So what I'm going to ask is perhaps that the court take judicial notice, or whatever weight the court thinks is appropriate, for the order granting the state's motion for pretrial detention on Mr. Hilton in case 26 CF 002424A.
Mr. Riley?
I have no issue that if you look at another judge ruling that he granted the state's pretrial detention motion, saying that absolutely was a substantial probability that it occurred.
That's the Bokai.
I'll take it. I just wanted a clarification
Sure.
to the reference to an order.
Yes, sir.
But, so we went far beyond what I felt I needed, but,
You know, it was once that door's open, lawyers never know when to stop.
state had no objection, so I will, take judicial notice of the order. As to what relevance it ultimately has, that would be argument.
Walk TA
And just
out.
the final
Come on,
question.
man.
We
Free
know that
TA.
Jackson went in to the area, the Ariana / Jasmine
Free TA. Everybody say
apartment where this all took place.
That's correct.
it. Free
We know
TA.
that Hilton went in.
Come on, put it in the chat.
That's
Free
correct.
TA.
We know obviously that
Put it out in the universe.
CJ was there.
Yes,
Who was the other guy that was there?
Fredo.
Fredo. Do you have any evidence?
Chicken
to
Alfredo
suggest
sounds great
Arnold
right now.
went into that?
No, to the contrary, all of them said he did not go in.
Nothing further. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Any redirect, Mr. Riley?
Yes, sir.
Come on, free TA. Let's go.
Defense spent a lot of time speaking about the beating itself, okay, and that Boakai directed it. That is correct, right?
Correct.
As you stated multiple times, Boakai's the quarterback. He's leading the charge, all that stuff. But what we're missing, I want to redirect you, is the plan, the game plan. Who is the one that created that game plan?
Not
Mr.
TA.
Arnold.
And we get that through Ariana Del Valle, right?
Correct.
In which Mr. Arnold tells her to contact Jasmine, right? Who Jasmine, lack of a better term, but is the bait in this case,
That's correct.
to lure under false pretenses Danny to her apartment, correct?
Correct.
It is Mr. Arnold who suggests, and only is the one that brings up, that Yanni or Danny was the one that may have stolen the items.
Correct.
Ms. Davalle also tells you that it is Mr. Arnold and Fredo who are discussing about we were going to bring them to a hotel as the first plan.
Correct.
Is this not leading, Judge?
I'll sustain this to leading. Rephrase.
Okay. In redirecting your attention to recapping, okay, Ariana Del Valle says what was Mr. Arnold's and Fredo's first plan? What was their first idea?
So,
I'm going to object only because it's asked and answered. They went over this on direct in detail. I do cross. That shouldn't be an opportunity for them to re-litigate the same things that they put on in direct. There's nothing new here.
That's true.
For
You can only
I'm just rounding it
recross
off, Your Honor.
on things
In
that are new.
regards to what was brought up on cross-examination
me.
about the beating to reorient back to the state's argument is that he's the planner. He's the one who put things in motion. We are
haven't
not
proved that.
contesting that Boakai, as stated in that order, is the
Come on,
quarterback.
Judge.
So,
I'm on my 10th page of notes, so there's a lot of material here. I'll allow it.
thank you, Your Honor.
I have an extra pad.
Unnecessary.
And Jasmine says to you that Terrion himself says to her on a FaceTime what to do and how to lure Danny to that apartment.
No proof.
Correct.
Okay. And those two women said in an interview that Mr. Arnold knew what was going on.
Correct.
And lastly, in regards to the robbery, which items were taken from Yanni, Danny, and Soldier Anderson?
They took all their phones, all their jewelry, their wallets, something else. Their jackets,
Yep.
phones,
Jackets.
jewelry, wallets, phones, and jackets. I think it was.
I have no further questions.
Ooh. All right.
The witness may step down. The state has the witnesses or testimony,
State restaurant.
exhibits.
Stay arrested. All right.
Mr. Steinberg,
Judge, may we have
you want a short break?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
No, let's take a, can we do it in, say, 7 minutes? More than 5, but less than 10?
Can I bargain for 8 minutes and a half? Yes, 7 minutes. Thank you.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right.
At our age, we
Comfort
both-
break.
We could do that.
A short comfort break.
Wonder who this is. Maybe it's a.
I will, yeah. And just for the record, I'm handing the exhibits to the clerk, states 1 and 2.
So they're going to take about an 8.5 minute break. And at that point, I'm not sure if the defense has any witnesses to call. I would assume that now would be the time. Obviously, they're not going to be, running through the whole case right now. It's just pretrial detention. So unless there's anyone that can speak to any of the evidence that they have presented to the court today, that they being the prosecutor, which would be text messages, FaceTime, whatever. I don't know what you could have from that outside of a time stamp and how long it ran. I don't know what you could really provide from a FaceTime. But any text messages, man, I hate seeing TA being led back to lockup. Man, it hurts the heart. Really hurts the heart. All right, I made a few notes too. I'm not on 10 pages. I probably could have been, but I write for shit. So here's what I got. The first FaceTime with Dalval states that no testimony provided the evidence. The state's testimony provided no evidence that TA gave any orders. Okay. The second FaceTime was the actual event of the beating, we'll call it, right? Kind of using their terms. But in that first FaceTime, the rider in the third row, like that was really good cross by what's his name? Spielberg, I think. What the hell's his name? What's this guy's name? I forget. But anyway, the defense, really good cross here by saying that the witness in the car didn't really know what was going on, right? How could he see? So he stated and corroborated that statement that the witness that was sitting in the third row in TA's truck, must be some sort of a Yukon or something, right? Or an Escalade, couldn't really see or hear what was going on in the FaceTime. But yet this investigator said in his investigation and through his testimony that he could see and hear that TA was on the FaceTime and communicating through the FaceTime of what to do. So that got blown apart to pieces. And then given, the factor that is really still outstanding, who was on the FaceTime? And if it went to Bokai's phone, well, that in no way implicates Terrion Arnold. And even if Terrion Arnold was in the car, then my question is this: is Ridgway charged? The guy that Terrion Arnold hired to do social media and other content for him, is he charged? Because he was in the car, right? If he was in the third row, if you can be implicated just for being in the damn car, then why is he not charged? Sounds like he and TA are in the same situation. They're caught up in a mess that they didn't want to really be involved in. So that's interesting. So Jackson Ridgway in the car with TA outside the apartment. Right? That's been apparently testified to, or at least witness testimony taken under oath by the prosecutor and the investigator, that Jackson Ridgway said that TA was outside of the apartment in a car, and said that he was sharing FaceTime while Hilton was driving, and then Hilton was the one that was showing TA. And like I said, all of that was just impeached because there's no way he could see that. And again, my notes say that if Jackson can hear Hilton, then he should have been able to hear TA on FaceTime roughly 9 feet away, right? From the back of a Yukon to the front seat, about 9 feet away. So, I mean, let's be real here. If the volume was all the way up, you should be able to hear it. Maybe they didn't have it connected to the car, whatever. It doesn't even matter. It's all he said, she said. 90% of what this prosecutor put on today was all he said, she said. It looks like they're already coming back. TA's walking back in. I can fast forward it here in just a second. So limited amounts could be heard, right? Talk to them, in quotes. I put, TA was never implicated saying anything about the alleged beatdown. And I think that is very valuable too, that TA, Jackson Ridgway, couldn't hear him say that, but TA never said that. Don't know who participated in the group text, right? But what I had said earlier is in the pretrial motion, let me read this real quick. Let me throw it up on the screen if I can, because they impeached themselves, which is awesome, right? Absolutely awesome. Give me 1 second here. Let me show you exactly what we're talking about. If I can get my screen to behave. Let's see. Is this it? There we go. All right, we're just going to have to roll with this for the moment. Okay, so on this sheet, I'll just throw it up over top here. On this sheet, it says, let me find it. That in here that says, on 2/3/26, Arnold and Hilton coordinated and directed both Dalval and Randazzo to electronically contact Tanaska. They don't have any proof of that. Hold on here. Where is it? Must be at the top. Come on, where is it? The biggest thing that came out of this, too, is the fact that the code, right? If you forgot about the code, there's a code to get into Airbnb, and the only people that had that code were people that Terrion Arnold gave access to. So if he was giving access, then who broke in? If there was no forced entry, well, either they did some, Mission Impossible shit, or someone with the code broke in and stole it. And that's what I've been saying every time, that one of those people in this circle of Arnold stole all of this and then put on this big dog and pony show, and now he's in a world of hurt because of it. I'm almost there. I got to find it here. Okay. Almost there. Okay, right here, it says Dalval sat on the bed in the same bedroom and utilized her phone to stream the confrontation, which was viewed by Arnold, Hilton, and Hughes as they were still en route to Tallahassee. Now, that part of it, I believe, has already been impeached by the defense. Simultaneously, a chat group was created, which was joined by Hilton. Now, what the prosecutor just said was something totally different. they impeach themselves. Now, again, I'm not an attorney. I'm just going based on my own intelligence and what I heard and what I believe has happened here, because what they had mentioned is that Hilton created the group message, right? Not that Hilton joined a group message. So in the pretrial motion, it says that a chat group was created, which was joined by Hilton. But guess what else happened? That investigator ended up saying that Terrion Arnold was never in any of the group chats, that Terrion Arnold was never communicating through any of the group chats or any other chats or text messages. So they don't have that either. It looks like the judge is coming back. Maybe they'll be getting started here in a few moments. And as soon as they get rolling, we'll be rolling. The other thing I thought was big, too, was the fact that they weren't really paid for the beating. They were paid, potentially, allegedly paid, just to take the day off.
First, I'd like to make reference to the fact we have provided several letters to the court.
And we'll rewind a little bit.
My chambers run slower.
Well, you are a lawyer.
First and foremost. All right, so, Mr. Steinberg, we will turn now to the defense since the statement is rested.
Thank you, Judge. First, I'd like to make reference to the fact we have provided several letters to the court.
Absolutely. I have a stack of letters. I think there's also something that looks somewhat like a resume of
Some of his
community experience.
yes, community service, commitment to
Community involvement. Yep.
yes.
Yes.
So
I
we,
have all that and I've reviewed it.
and we'd ask that those be made part of the record.
We can, I think, did mine already provide a copy? Yes, sir. All right. Any objection?
I have no issue because it goes to the bond factors and things of that nature. So let's not wait for the truth of matter asserted in regards to my burden on the facts.
Yeah,
but absolutely for you to consider in bond factors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me ask, Mr. Steinberg, do you have any evidence, testimony that you want to put on?
I have one witness if the court will indulge us.
All right.
Absolutely. And then when we turn to argument, I'm going to allow the state to start because it is their burden and then give you the opportunity to respond.
We're going to be
more
here a
than fair. Thank you.
long time,
This
y'all.
is your opportunity to present any testimony or evidence. So you have
Yes.
a witness.
Yes, Ms. White.
Ms. White, if you'll come forward, please.
In my understanding, Your Honor, this is purposely just for bond factors.
Okay.
Unless she knows something.
Then it'd be Brady and I would speak.
Ms. White, if you'll come forward, before you step up, if you'll raise your right hand, please. Thank you, ma'am. Do you swear affirmative testimony you give will be the truth?
Before Miss White jumps in, please all do me a huge favor. We have had over 400 people watching for the last couple of hours. We're only at 100 likes. The algorithm really loves it when you like the stream. It would help us get out to a couple more hundred people just like you watching this case. Please tap the like right now. Be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Judge. Can I get you to state your full name and spell your last name for the record, please?
My name is Kristen Erica White. Last name is spelled W-H-I-T-E.
And how are you employed?
I work for the state courts system.
And what do you do?
I'm the general counsel.
For who?
The state court system.
Okay.
Which
The
state?
state court of,
Excuse me, the Florida state court system.
thank you so much. And you are here not in that capacity.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're
I-
not here in any capacity related to your employment.
That is correct. I am not here in any professional capacity, but only in a personal capacity.
All right. Talk to me about how you know Mr. Arnold.
Mr. Arnold, I refer to him as my nephew, and he refers to me as his aunt, but that is not a biological relation. I am just a close family friend, but that is the nature of our relationship.
So I'm going to say that means you're very close.
That is correct.
And so we're aware there are a number of family members who are seated over my left shoulder,
Yes, that is the entire Arnold family.
and they're here obviously to support him.
That is correct.
Now, tell me about his personality, his character. I want you to tell me what you've come to know Mr. Arnold.
Terrion is a very innovative young man. He's inspirational. He likes to benefit the community. He has special relationships with his family, as you can see here. He has a great grandmother and he has a 6-week-old daughter. And he so cares about family. He is wanting to be the best version of himself, and I've personally observed this. Terrion is also a very spiritual person, and he is so concerned about his relationship with God and wanting to make sure that he is a good example to society and to those coming up behind him, and that's my personal observation.
Now, one of the factors the court considers is danger. I want you to talk about whether or not he, in your opinion, poses a danger to the community or to anyone.
I absolutely do not think he poses any danger. Terrion is one of the most caring people I have ever met. Every time he comes home, he's going to see people in the community putting on events to help support young people. I have known him personally for the last 6 years, and I've never seen anything about him that indicates that he's a danger to any person.
And so I like to use this. There are certain people who have a criminal mindset, which means they're just criminals. Would you put Mr. Arnold in that mindset?
Absolutely not. The Arnold family is one of the most caring people. And if I may, Your Honor, my mother recently was in hospice and she passed away. And this particular family helped me care for her, helped me to support her. They have raised him right. His mother, his grandmother, his uncle, all of these things. So no, Terrion is not a danger. Terrion is a very respectful young man, and I think he is an inspiration, and I would not be here on this stand testifying on his behalf if I thought otherwise.
And then finally, I'm going to ask you the obvious because we have all the cameras and everything else. Do you know what Mr. Arnold does for a living?
Well, he's an NFL football player.
And does he currently play for the Detroit Lions as a cornerback?
He does.
Is he committed in terms of his discipline and doing what he's supposed to do?
Absolutely. Terrion has been working since he's been 6 years old to get the achievement that he has today. And he's very concerned about making sure that he's a good example for those coming up behind him.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Judge. Oh, wait.
All right, Mrs. White, we hear you.
That's one of the things. I forget these things. If this judge should deem it appropriate that he get a bond, would you ensure and make every effort that he would comply with the terms of the bond?
Absolutely.
Would you have any concerns that he wouldn't?
No.
In terms of his ability to follow in direction and instruction and authority, have you ever seen any problems with that regarding Mr.
I have
Arnold?
not.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Any questions from the state, Mr. Riley?
No question. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Your
So,
Honor.
personal character witness, obviously giving TA a glowing recommendation. I've said the same thing. I've never seen anything but good things from TA.
Two as bond factors, so
Yes.
we'll go back now then. So essentially, I guess the defense rests.
Yes, sir. Defense rests.
So we'll turn back to Mr. Riley for the issue of the state's motion in this case, where the state is asking that I grant the pretrial detention and that he be held without a bond.
That is correct, Your Honor. We ask that you grant the state's pretrial detention motion and grant that he has no bond. There's two ways in which we're trying to seek that, Your Honor. The first, that there is a substantial probability that this defendant committed the offense, and based on the defendant's past and present patterns of behavior and the criteria set in 903-046 of the Florida statutes, and any other relevant facts, that no conditions of release or bail will reasonably protect the community from risk or physical harm, or in the alternative, the defendant be held without bond pursuant to Article 1, Section 14 of the Constitution of the State of Florida, because the defendant is charged with a capital offense or an offense punishable by life, and the proof of the guilt is evident or the presumption is great. In regards to the substantial probability the defendant committed the offense, Your Honor, we are not going to sit here and try to tell you that Mr. Arnold was the, as the defense said, the quarterback of this beating going on at the house. We are here to establish that the only reason that this plan or this act gets off the ground is because of Mr. Arnold. So if Mr. Boakai is the quarterback, then he would be the general manager at this point for relevance. He is the reason why it gets set in motion. And the reason why we put it that way, and we're not trying to say to you that he actually held a gun, he told someone to pistol whip someone under Florida statute 777.011. And the jury instruction is 3.5A, and I provided that to defense as well, Your Honor. If you'd like a copy, I have a copy for you as well.
Is that the principal?
Yes. Would you like a copy, Your Honor?
Sure.
This is the heart of the state's theory in this case, and that how Mr. Arnold's involvement and why he should be held criminally liable. It states in Florida Statute 777.011, if the defendant helped another person or persons commit or attempt to commit a crime, the defendant is principal and must be treated as if he had done all things that the other person or persons did, if the state proved beyond reasonable doubt that 1, the defendant intended the crime to occur, and 2, the defendant did some act or said something that was intended to, that did, incite, cause, encourage, assist, or advise the other person or persons to actually commit or attempt to commit the crime. The jury instruction is clear that this, to be principal, the defendant doesn't even have to be present when the crime is committed or attempted. In addition, so long as he did something to help, encourage, incite, assist, or advise, he does not need to know that a firearm would have been used for him to be found guilty or found to commit a crime of false imprisonment.
They have provided
and robbery
nothing so
with a
far.
firearm.
Nothing that proves that.
So we start from the beginning. We hear from Miss Devalle, who is a witness. Yes, she's already pled out in this case, and she has given a post-Miranda statement and a proffer. She states that on one of the nights, Mr. Arnold comes into the living room with everyone there, Fredo, Boakai, everyone involved, and he is the only one that says, I think I know who stole our stuff, and that is Yanni and Danny. You heard that testimony.
No
of the
harm in
relationship
saying
of
that.
Who Yanni is, who Danny is. Yanni was the driver that Mr. Arnold used. Danny is kind of that new sort of, I want to become a celebrity hairdresser or a barber. Ariana, as she's sitting there and listening to this, hears Mr. Arnold say, me and Fredo, which is Mr. Freddie Hughes, we're going to try and do this at a hotel. So the plan was already starting to get Yanni out in the open or in a secluded area to confront him and to speak with him. But we know why. And then the issue was, and this goes to the criminal intent of it is mentioned by Mr. Arnold, well, and Boakai, there's cameras at a hotel. Your Honor, obviously common sense. They're going to try to do something in which they do not want there to be evidence of. So that is why when they learned from Miss Devalle that Danny, who's the person they want to lure over to the apartment, that he's been there before. It might not be odd for him to go to Miss Devalle's apartment and see Jasmine, and there are no cameras there. As soon as that is offered up, you heard testimony that Miss Ariana Devalle stated, yes, that's available to you, and Mr. Arnold saying, that's what we're going to do. We're going to lure him to your apartment. Boakai and Freddie, all of them agree that they're going to get lured to the apartment. It is important to know that, yes, their testimony, I understand defense will attack their credibility, but the text message is what corroborates what has happened and when it happens. So, for example, Ariana is saying that this is all happening at the Airbnb early in the morning, very early in the morning, and saying Jasmine can lure them over to the apartment. She states that Mr. Arnold says, text Jasmine. You have the text message. At what time in the morning, the AM, the early AM, saying, Jasmine, are you up? That is corroborating that that conversation between Mr. Arnold and Ariana actually took place. Additionally, inside the text messages, when Jasmine wakes up, she responds, what? That is now when Ariana says she is discussing this with Mr. Arnold.
Hearsay.
What she should do, as in text Danny, tell him to come over, try to lure him to come over. That is all corroborated from her interview with her text messages.
Hearsay.
That conversation is actually happening. So, cue Jasmine. So now that Ariana has her marching orders from Mr. Allen, since he has figured out the best way to do this is lure them to the apartment, we need Miss Randazzo, Jasmine. So once Jasmine is speaking, or on the text message, excuse me, she's kind of trying to figure out what's going on. And it's pretty evident because in her text message, she says, oh, you're trying to set them up. And you can tell there's a reservation because she even offers out there saying, why don't you just tell him he's going to come over and cut hair? Going towards the criminal intent of she knows, and they all know that the plan to go over there or to get him over there is one of criminal nature, that Mr. Arnold wanted to happen. Now, in regards to motive, in that sense, to the why, all his things were stolen. All his items were stolen, and he wanted to get the get back. They all were upset by that, especially that phone that went to Miami. which was important because we learned in a group chat while the beating was occurring that Boakai specifically asked in all caps, ask about Terrion's phone. Why is it in Miami? While Mr. Arnold is sitting next to him in a vehicle. So back to when Jasmine is now told, this is what you're going to do, lure him over. She states in her interview that there is a first FaceTime call earlier in the day during the planning process where Mr. Arnold is involved. Absolutely. Is she hears his voice when he's trying to tell her what to say to Danny to lure him to the apartment. She said something about, you know how girls do, just do something the girl likes and bring him over, say something a girl would say. He is providing, and per the statute, he incited, caused, encouraged, assisted, or advised that person to actually commit or attempt to commit that crime, knowing that that's the whole point of why they're asking to lure Danny over, is for that crime to be committed. Now, if you ask, or the argument was made.
What crime at that point?
So, based off of what Mr. Arnold is doing, is the ruse in the beginning. That's why I went to criminal
judge
intent
has
in regards
doubt.
to the
That's
hotel. They want to get them alone. They want to get them secluded. They do not want there to be cameras because that's the whole point of the hotel. We don't want cameras to be available.
But I think there was some testimony or text about confront them about whether they were involved or whether they had the property.
Correct. Well, yes, that was
a crime?
That was in the group chat.
Is that a crime?
To confront them? No, not, that is the whole point. It is, we are not arguing at all that he is the one that pistol whips any of those people in there, any of those people who went over there with a gun. But in the state of Florida, if you incite, cause, or encourage, or assist, or advise any person, you are to be treated as if you did those things, which means they didn't go over there without the direction of Mr. Arnold. And additionally, in the principal instruction, he does not need to be aware of all of the things in which that are going to take place there to be principal. It says that right in the instruction. So it is not necessary for a principal to know every detail of how robbery or false imprisonment will be committed as long as the principal intended the robbery or false imprisonment to occur and did some act or said something that was intended to help and did help, which was he had the connection to Ariana. He knew that that would get Danny over to the house because of Jasmine. He used Ariana to go to Jasmine so that Jasmine can lure Danny over to the house.
Let me ask you though, if his intent is only to question them, this is just hypothetically, if his intent is only to question them, does principal theory then encompass him if they go farther than questioning and commit all the acts that there's testimony that they committed?
I would say yes, because there's the argument, the jury instruction that defense could argue, is independent act. That there's a break in the chain, that he simply just wanted them to go over there and to speak, and they acted independently of that. We're arguing that what he did is a foreseeable thing that could happen when you're luring someone over to the house for that purpose. As in, that is why his location matters, where he is at the time, who he's communicating with, what people see, and most importantly, all three people that you've heard from, which is Ariana. He's saying to her, get closer. I would say physically get closer to what was happening.
And I'm following you, and all the time listening to the testimony was thinking that that was coming through the FaceTime live until it came out that no, there was nothing on the FaceTime live because the volume was turned off.
I think my understanding would be,
You don't know shit.
even if they're in the room, the FaceTime, you're in the room with your phone. Regardless of the volume might be low for someone, the speaker, to speak out of it. So if that person, say Boakai, was speaking into the speaker, it would be out. Like you would hear someone talking through it. But to be able to just receive audio, that was not uninterrupted. It seems like that Ari, when she went a little farther, they were saying get closer back so they could hear what's going on. And they weren't speaking out loud so it would come through because that volume was either turned down low or she just wasn't closer to it. So, which is established that it corroborates. She's in the room watching all this happen. She's giving a play-by-play of what's happening. But also, through Boakai's text messages, so is he, which we know Mr. Arnold is sitting next to him.
Hearsay.
So that's now how we know Boakai is actually seeing what's going on in that room. That's why he's giving instructions. Don't put them in the corner. Don't let them leave. Where's that other guy going? When you see the text messages, They are basically live streaming and see exactly what's happening, which is the only reason why they're there at that apartment in the first place is because of Mr.
Sorry, I
Arnold.
got to pause this real quick. This guy has prepared it a shit sandwich for this judge, and I don't think the judge is swallowing it. We'll find out, but so far he's done nothing but provide hearsay. Someone saying this guy was here, or someone saying that, well, the FaceTime was on, so he should have been able to hear it. That implicates you now. Exactly what I said last week. If I go to rob a bank tomorrow morning and I post a live stream to everybody and everybody watches it, even though I don't know you, you're now implicated in that robbery because I FaceTimed or put a live stream out so everybody could watch it. So everybody that put a message in my chat, they're now implicated because they watched it. You see what I'm saying? Pretty far stretch. And if this judge goes that far, that'd be really unfortunate. Let's watch the rest of this.
Getting that ball rolling. And my only burden is that did he incite, cause, encourage, or assist? Doesn't get off the ground without him at all.
We'll speed it up.
Yes, understanding that these witnesses, at trial, that is different in regards to that and their credibility. And at the end of the day,
Even higher
and even higher at trial. And I understand that, even though, yes, we're going under the one theory of proof of guilt is evident or presumption is great, which technically is even higher than that. But the first burden, or the first way in which we're trying to get it, is substantial probability that the defendant committed the offense. It would fly in the face of logic that these decided to do this on their own. It means Arnold and Freddie really did have that conversation of let's confront them in the hotel. And then while they're roundtabling it, realizing that's not a good idea because there's
sounds like flies on shit.
And then once Mr. Arnold learns that Ari's apartment is fair game, he then makes sure and directs, encourages, and assists Ari to send a text message to Jasmine and set it all up. Not only just for Ari, you hear that from Ari. Jasmine herself says, Terrion told me directly, I specifically asked that, directly, do the girl thing, try to get him to come over because they knew it was a ruse. He knew it was a ruse to get him over there. And as I said, he does not need to know every single detail of it for him to be proven as a principal to this. So, and the end of the beating that happens in the house and when Ariana is able to leave, when Mr. Arnold arrives, he says to them, and you heard it from everyone that we've heard from Ariana, Jasmine, and Ridgway, that he says, you don't need to be there, Ariana. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to be there. Jasmine also said, I heard Terrion say, nope, you don't want to be there. Get out of there, which goes to his knowledge of what is happening in that apartment. Because the issue was, do we believe Mr. Arnold while he's in the car? Was he watching the FaceTime or not? I think that was the issue. It was hard to establish or trying to establish that he had knowledge, or do we believe his eyes were actually on FaceTime? That is direct evidence that he knew the nature of what was happening inside that apartment. That you don't need to be up there. You don't have to be involved in this. I don't want you to be scared. And then took them out, and then took Ariana out. So this whole he didn't know what possibly was going on in the car when on a FaceTime, it flies in the face of that's being truthful because his own statements himself to Ariana that also Jasmine corroborated and heard as well. Which you heard testimony that they did not speak to each other in regards to their testimony. And when confronted with text messages, confronted is not the word he used, because when the detectives was going over the testimony from these women lined up with the text messages. It was not, oh, you're wrong, you're lying to me, and then we have to confront you with the text messages. Everything they said is corroborated by the text messages.
But it never came from
the
TA.
Criminal, as in when it played out, how did it go? And they even knew the effects or the serious nature of this because they said they were going to delete them.
Come on,
and not only that, Boakai then does try and delete all their text messages. So yes, understand that Boakai is running the game time decisions in regards to what's happening in the apartment, but the game plan starts with Mr. Arnold putting in motion with Ariana. This is what you need to do to get him to your house, and then also doing that with Jasmine. Coupled with Jackson Ridgway saying he knew what was happening. Yes, he absolutely was involved. He knew what was happening. And we did get that out in testimony. So in regards to the state's motion, or if I look at my notes briefly.
Bro, you've had enough time you're running in circles. I'm getting the feeling that this judge he has a lot of doubt. He has a lot of doubt, and that's good. The judge pushing back could be for two things. He either doesn't believe a thing the prosecutor's saying, the prosecutor hasn't established anything, so there's more than two things, or it's just for show, and he's going to lock TA up.
Understanding.
Anyway.
that you're discussing beyond a reasonable doubt at trial, Your Honor. But there's a substantial probability that the defendant committed the offense and that he was principal to it. And the issue that we have in regards to the defendant's past and present patterns of behavior, I need to address that because that is the second part of my prong for substantial probability. He has no criminal history. Completely understand. Character evidence came out for bond factors. Outstanding citizen. The issue. He picked one of the worst charges to pick up as his first time because it carries so much weight because of the serious violent nature of it. And the reason why I say point to the present patterns of behavior, because I understand his past, great person, great family, and I absolutely respect that.
So that's exactly what I
But
was
the
saying.
issue is there is 3 individuals that had guns pointed in their faces because of this defendant. And what that shows is that this defendant's ability to pretty much say to six human beings, 6 individuals, this is what we're going to do, that is very serious. That is very dangerous.
You haven't proved it.
And the last portion in regards to there are no conditions of release or bail reason to protect the community from risk or physical harm. This plan that was then executed, Soldier Anderson wasn't involved in this at all. And this group of people did not care at all. They still brought him into it. They still pistol whipped him. They still stuck a gun in his face. So
Wait, isn't he the one who was told to leave but said he wanted to stay?
that's correct. That's correct. Because at that point, based off the testimony that the detective said, he felt he didn't want to leave his friends in that condition. But you got, and I understand that notion, Judge. But Danny, when confronted by CJ with a gun in his chest, his first reaction was, "You know me, I'm Danny." So this was out of the ordinary of a confrontation or a discussion about stolen items. That is where I think that's the disconnect, because what reasonably should have happened was they did have a discussion. Hey guys, can you come over? We need to discuss this. I got a ping on my phone that's in Miami. What's going on? If it was you guys, can you just give me back my items, please? Or do what he did on his way back from Tallahassee. Mr. Arnold called Largo PD, said these were the items that were stolen. I think I know who the ones did it. So essentially what happens, and that would have been reasonable. But what happens is, based off the criminal nature and intent behind all of it, and I get it, it's a long stretch of events, but it doesn't start.
Hey, can we get 50 new subs on this video? Come on, let's roll. We've had 600 people in here at one point. Let's get some subs, man. Like it, sub it, follow along for the rest of the year. We'll be following the case
Until Mr. Arnold pushes the first domino over, which is Ariana text Jasmine to get Danny to the
Appreciate
house.
y'all.
Because if it was not for any other criminal reason,
There's
he
one.
would have just did it himself. Boakai would have did it to himself, or say to Ariana, "Hey, can you just ask him about the stolen items?" So, based off that, Your Honor, and essentially the 6 other people who were involved in this case have all been found. Substantial probability that occurred, and that they are being held currently at no bond. We ask that you do the same to Mr. Arnold.
Mr. Steinberg, you look very anxious to respond.
Yeah,
I will allow it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I won't take as much time, but I listened intently, as I know you were, to this so-called plan. But harking back to the evidence, there is zero evidence that suggests that Mr. Arnold had any idea or was aware that there was going to be a beating, that there was going to be guns involved, or anything. The only thing that I would suggest to you, through its hearsay and questions of credibility the state has shown, is the following. That Mr. Arnold was suspicious that his phone was taken and wanted to confront some people and ask them. That's all you have. There's nothing more. Arnold's participation, based on all the evidence before you, ends there. And that, to me, I have to tell you, is confusing to begin with, and I don't get it, because hotel room where they're worried about cameras, what difference does that make? These guys knew who they were. This wasn't a situation where, hey, we're going to send in these guys who they've never seen before, and they're going to do the dirty work. They all knew each other. So luring, they didn't need to, quote, lure anyone. I just don't understand this, because if this were the plan to beat them, to shoot them, to do whatever, they could have said, hey, guys, come on over to the Airbnb. There's no cameras here. So the whole thing really makes no sense. It really doesn't. You lure people to a location so you can hide your identity. You lure people to a location who you know won't willingly come over. In fact, the evidence here is undisputed that they knew each other, that they were driving together, and they would have come over. So I don't know how to resolve that. I really don't. But I do think it's relevant because the only thing they can attribute to him, and it's the only thing. And again, I'm going to emphasize, I wish I had full discovery. I wish I had the opportunity to cross-examine. But at most, giving some credence to what they've presented, here's what they can show you. That my client was suspicious, and clearly the evidence suggests he had reason to be suspicious, and wanted to confront them. And that's it. What else have they shown you? Do you have any text messages from him?
Nope.
0. Do you have any text messages that suggest Terrion says to hit them, to shoot them, to beat them, to do anything to them? You have 0. 0. Nothing. So I'm thinking complicity is the fancy word that we use in various courts. You have to have complicity to do the act itself, i.e. the act of beating them, the act of threatening them. You don't have that. There's not a scintilla of evidence that suggests that. If in fact, Mr. Arnold's in a position where the only evidence and the only thing they've shown is, hey, I think we should confront them, that's a crime? And that rises to the level of more than probable cause. I don't even think there's probable cause to believe that he was part of this. And I'm going to argue that to you just because probable cause that he, in fact, this is just for a probable cause statement. He said, I want to confront them. What else do you have, Judge? Do you have one scintilla of evidence that says Arnold said to beat them? Nope. Do you have one scintilla of evidence that said Arnold said to point a gun at them? Nope. Do you have one scintilla of evidence that said Arnold said to put a gun in their mouths? Nope. And then I hark back to Jackson. Remember Mr. Jackson Ridgway? He's in the car. What's ironic is they're relying on him, but keep in mind, he runs into the apartment where all this is happening. Remember that? When they get to the location, Jackson goes in. And they said, oh, he didn't go into the bedroom. He just came into the apartment. Did my client do that? No. Did my client text them? Nope. Did my client direct them? Nope. There is not a scintilla of evidence other than he said, hey, I want to confront these guys, because you got to admit that it's a little strange that his phone winds up in Miami when one of the people who had the code happened to be in Miami. So I think they might have done it.
Tell me the time frame from when Mr. Arnold arrives at the scene and the time that 3 victims were released.
It wasn't brought out in testimony. So I can tell you what I think, but in terms of the testimony, that wasn't brought out by the state. So I think that has to be inference against them, but it was a short time period. Very short. And keep in mind, the evidence is he left before they were released, in the sense that the evidence that they presented suggests that he had Ariana come and then they leave the scene while the people are still there. So he had nothing to do with it. He's getting out of there. And as you know, the principles of law are mere presence, mere association with other criminals is not enough. So let's even give him that. So now we have, okay, he wanted to
I don't know if I would have said that.
the words that, only words that were ever used by all their witnesses.
He knows what he's
And
doing.
2, he was present for a short period of time and then left. How does that make him guilty? So I'm going to suggest to you, there is no probable cause here for any of these counts. And clearly, you never get to proof evident presumption grade. You're not even close. So, and in terms of proving dangerousness, how do they prove dangerousness? I don't even want to go there, but I will, just because somebody will say, why didn't you talk to the judge about that? How's he dangerous? Do they show that he ever had a gun? No. Do they show that he told them to do anything other than, quote, one word? Confront. So because of that, Judge, we're asking that you not find probable cause to begin with, but certainly not to those higher standards, and give my guy a bond. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Under. Mr. Riley, does the state have anything else at this time?
Judge, I just want to highlight some text messages in regards to, I understand defense wants to go back to, didn't know there was a gun, didn't know that there was going to be beating happening. Once again, that is not my burden of proving that he is principal to this crime. What I am
Hell,
trying
it
to
ain't.
establish here is that he is the reason and the planning of why it happened, pushing that first domino via Miss Ariana to text Jasmine, because he needs only to encourage, assist, or advise. In the text messages in regards to, it's the bigger packet, I apologize for states 2.
Yes.
Where it is established that Ariana texts Jasmine, are you up? She says what when she finally gets up in the morning? She says, text Danny and ask him what he's doing later. And that's it. That's what Terrion said. Doesn't answer. Said, did you do it or want Celeste to? Jasmine, I'll do it. Ariana, okay, let me know when you do it. All right. Just texted me. Ariana says, hold on. Ariana writes, or Jasmine writes, or excuse me, she likes. Okay, hold on. So Jasmine's waiting. It's pending. Ariana writes. So basically, just try to get him to come over tonight. Don't be suspicious, though. This conversation is happening from Mr. Arnold to Ariana, and Ariana is relaying this to Ms. Randazzo. For what? Who are you with? So Jasmine says. Ariana goes, I'm with Terrion. Ariana, just do it. It's for them. Okay, let me know when it's done. Text messages gets sent. He is orchestrating, or whatever I'll just use what the law says. He is encouraging and assisting, getting Ariana to put this ruse on, to talk to Jasmine, to say, get Danny to the apartment. And this word confront, this thing of what would be reasonable talk to them, they had no issues with them. It flies in the face of logic when you're saying, don't be suspicious though. We can't do this because there's no cameras available. That doesn't make sense.
Broken record, bro. You've proved nothing. Broken record. We already know the outcome of today's bond hearing.
And in those text messages, Your Honor, that I hope you review, it states and says why they're doing what they're doing, because they stole their stuff.
No.
They're going to pay
What
us.
it shows is a rat
That is all
decided
coming
to
from Mr.
testify.
Arnold.
That's what it shows.
So we ask that you grant the state's motion, and the 6 people who have already been found to have no bond, we ask that Mr. Arnold joins them, because without
They
his
admitted
actions
guilt.
to encourage, assist, or advise, these 6 people would not be in Hillsborough County Jail right now. Thank you.
I hear you, Mr. Riley, and I understand the principal theory in Florida. What distinguishes Mr. Arnold from those other 6 is that he has no hands-on. He never goes into the apartment. There's nothing on his phone, on his social media, on his texts. What you have, the state has, to connect Mr. Arnold through the principal theory currently is the testimony of the 2 co-defendants that were facing life in prison, who this court didn't have the ability to personally judge their credibility. I have no doubt that that is what they said, but that's going to be a very important thing for the state to get to the 4th quarter in this process. So at this stage, to grant the state's motion, the burden is higher than probable cause. It's either under 903.046, substantial probability, and no conditions regarding safety, or under 907.041, proof of guilt evident or presumption great. And as I said, we're early. We're in the 1st quarter. But the state just isn't there at this point.
That's
so
damn
I can't
straight.
grant the state's motion. I do find probable cause based on all of the stuff that you've argued so eloquently and put together. It's complex, it's complicated, and you and the detective have done a very good job of helping me understand. I have 10 pages of notes that I wrote throughout the testimony, and I do believe I have an understanding of it. I understand your argument regarding motive. I understand everything, and I find there's probable cause. But I'm going to set bond, and I recognize that that's different than the
Bond
other
is set.
6.
TA
I
is
even
free.
heard one of the pretrial detentions on 2 or 3 of the other 6. But as I said, the distinction in those cases was that they were there. They went into the apartment. They had hands on, except for Jasmine, I believe, who wasn't there. It wasn't
That's right.
in. But there was other testimony related to her. So at this stage, I find probable cause, but I don't find the higher level to grant the state's motion for pretrial detention.
Probable cause of reason.
So I'm going to deny the motion, but it's a serious case. It's serious crimes that I am finding probable cause of, and I'm going to set bond. And that bond is going to be consistent with the serious nature of the
Be a big amount.
charges. Let me ask the state this. Are there conditions of the bond? Now that the cat's out of the bag and you know that I'm setting bond for Mr. Arnold, are there specific conditions of bond that you would like to request at this time?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. No contact with the co-defendants or witnesses in this case.
I'm writing it down. So no contact with witnesses or co-defendants.
A electronic monitor.
Electronic GPS monitor,
That is correct, Your Honor.
ankle monitor. Next.
That is at this, or may I have a brief moment?
Yes.
I don't think you can play football with a monitor on. See, now we're going to hear from the NFL, though. The NFL is now going to have to make a decision on whether they're going to place him on the exemption list and or whether the Lions are going to release him or not.
Surrender his passport.
Well, if I apologize, what I was looking for is to make sure there was no other witnesses that he was not having any contact with. Yes, surrender his passport, and any other things that Your Honor would find reasonable. Sorry, that went through.
That's right. That's right, Mr. Steinberg.
Judge, so we would ask for 24 hours to surrender the passport. The family didn't bring it. It's in Detroit, so we'll have to get it here. We strenuously object to the ankle bracelet, and here's why. One, it'll basically take his employment away, and that's critical. He can't continue in the league when he has an ankle bracelet. That's not going to happen. And the purpose, I would suggest, of an ankle bracelet is to track and make sure you know where somebody is. First off, obviously, he's not in a position to hide. Everybody knows who he is. But more importantly, there were, again, 4.5 to 5 months where he knew he was under investigation, knew he was a target, and if he wanted to leave, he had ample opportunity to leave, to flee, to hide out. When I got the call, I called Mr. Diaz, and he gave me the number of the marshal, and I said, we'll have him at the jail. Give us the time. They said 10:30 in the evening. We got him there. Literally, I want to say it was 10 o'clock, sorry. I want to say it was within hours of the phone call. If I remember right, I was in California and I got the phone call, and within 5 hours he was there. And the reason it took so long is I had to get this guy out of bed to make sure he could meet him there at 10 p.m. So he's not, or drive from Tallahassee. So he's not a flight risk. This is not a guy who I don't think the state has any concern is not going to appear. And because the prejudice is it puts him out of the league, we're asking that the court not make that a requirement.
All right. There are, according to his booking sheet, a total of 8 charges, 4 each of kidnapping, harm, or terrorize, and 4 of robbery, firearm, or deadly weapon. On the 4, each of the 4 kidnapping, harm, or terrorize, I'm going to set his bond at $150,000 per count.
Wow, that's cheap.
On 4 counts of robbery, firearm, I'm going to set his bond at $100,000 per count. That's a total bond of $1 million. As far as the conditions of his bond, I'm going to order that he have no contact with his co-defendants or with any witnesses. That he surrender his passport. I'll allow him 24 hours to surrender the passport. Need to make that happen.
We might need more than 24 hours. The passport's in Michigan. If you can let us surrender the passport within 2 or 3 days.
48 hours.
48 hours, yes, sir.
And if he doesn't surrender it, then that's a violation of the conditions of his bond.
Right. We don't want
He's not going to want to be in. I'm going to address that
We
with
don't
him
want
in
to
just a
hold up
moment
his release.
when I finish the conditions.
He'll go back in if we don't have it.
And Your Honor, did you mention the conspiracy charges as well? I apologize.
I don't have a conspiracy charge on here.
Well,
There's 2.
that's blasphemy. It's
I think-
3 counts, 3 counts.
I think the
and
most
2 counts.
recent pronounced only has 8 charges.
There should be 8 total, Your Honor.
3 conspiracies,
There's
2
2
robbery,
conspiracy
2
charges, I
conspiracy.
believe.
Yeah, 100 grand is all
exactly.
he has to pay to get
They're
out.
not on the sheet, the
They're not on my sheet. They're not on my sheet. I think $1 million.
Well, I want to be very careful because if they come through, that's going to create confusion. If I set bond on these 8 charges and then there's some 2 other charges pending out there, that's going to present a problem. Mr. Riley,
I'll have to touch base with Mr. Diaz in regards to the conspiracy. My understanding is that
the detective is shaking his head. You want to talk to him, or detective? Do you?
I can clear it.
Can you clarify, please?
I can't, just to Mr. Ryder or to you?
I'll speak to the detective briefly.
All right, that's fine. Works either way.
Sounds like that prosecutor is trying to create a problem so the bond can get set and then get revoked because there's additional charges. But there has been 3 charges for robbery, 3 charges for conspiracy, and 2 charges for 3 charges for robbery, 3 charges for kidnapping, and 2 charges for conspiracy. Of which the latter of the 2 charges for conspiracy, I believe, were later added and replaced one of each of the robbery and kidnapping charges so that they could at least try to hem Terrion Arnold up on something. And I don't see TA in the court right now, so I don't know if he's already
Your Honor, in regards to
out or what.
the charges, it is actually 3 and 3 in regards to kidnap
The
officers.
clerk has advised that the CRA does delineate that one of each is a conspiracy on the CRA. I don't know how or why and whether that's on the booking sheet or the clerk's charges, none of them have anything related to conspiracy. So I'm not sure the best way to handle it, except that there are 8 counts. There are 4 related to kidnapping. It appears one of those might be or is conspiracy. There are 4 related to robbery, and one of those might be or is in fact
How can this
conspiracy.
court
I'm
not
not
have a
changing the
freaking
amount of the bond, but there's 8 separate charges.
Just wanted to make sure it was clear.
One of each apparently is conspiracy. Yes,
Mr. Jansen.
Mr. Jansen.
Your Honor, can you just do the bond on the counts? So there's no count number, count 1,
I
count
think
2,
I think
so we don't
that's
have
fine.
delay.
Count 1 is going to be $150,000. Count 2 is going to be $150,000. Count 3 is $150,000. Count 4 is $150,000. Count 5 is $100,000. Count 6 is $100,000. Count 7 is $100,000. Count 8 is $100,000 again, for a total of $1 million in bond. The last condition, well, the state didn't ask for it, but I do want him confined to his residence except for he can leave for work. I don't want to interfere with his ability to earn a living. So he can leave for work, he can leave for legal appointments, he can leave to come to court. The condition that I am struggling with is the GPS monitor. I don't know it to be true, but the defense said that he may not be able to or would not be able to work with a GPS ankle monitor.
As an officer of the court, I will tell you, he would not be allowed on the field because of danger to the other players in terms of tackling, in terms of when he hits somebody, cutting people. You're not allowed under NFL rules. They get fined for their socks not being in the right position. So the ankle bracelet would prohibit him from doing his job.
I suppose that there's some way that I could fashion an exception to when he's playing, but I suspect that that would extend to when he's practicing.
Right.
But given all of the other things that I acknowledge you've mentioned, that we've got 5 months with no attempts to
There
flee.
you go.
We've got him turning himself in almost immediately when you were notified of the charges. I'm going to reluctantly reject the state's request for GPS ankle monitor.
Hey, you judge.
In
Way
addition
off
to the
compassion.
reasons I've stated, is because I suspect that Mr. Arnold has a paparazzi monitor. If he's late for practice, ESPN will let us know.
Oh, yeah.
If he disappears, the world will know before he knows. If he shows up on a beach in Tahiti, he'll be on social media. If he violates the conditions of his bond, he will be found because they will find you and you will come back because the law will bring you back, and then you will sit with no bond until your trial in this case. Do you understand that, Mr. Arnold?
Yes, sir.
All right. So those are the conditions that I'm going to impose. I've set the bond. Is there anything else that we need to do? I don't know, maybe because that we know where it's going or any future court dates at this time. Mr. Steinberg, looks like you want to say something or add something.
Just, he needs to obviously travel to, as you pointed out, Tallahassee is where I think he's going to be living. I live in Denver. I want him to be able to come to my office, and then Detroit, and then they may travel in the sense that Detroit may.
Notify the state
I will do that.
of each of those, but
No
but
problem.
I'm not going to, my intent here in setting his bond is not to prevent him from leaving Hillsborough County. I understand he resides in Tallahassee, but I have said that he can only leave his residence
Yes.
for those reasons that I've delineated, including whatever his involvement with the NFL for practice and or games.
Training ground.
As long as it's required by the
Oh,
team.
yes.
I don't want to create any extra opportunities for him to be outside of his house. It's not in his best interest. As I said, he's being closely followed, looked after. We'll see. I'm giving him a tremendous benefit, I believe, in not putting the ankle monitor that would interfere with his ability to earn a living, which I want him to continue to be able to do. He's in a unique situation. We don't have a lot of defendants with that type of a job. So I hope that what I've fashioned today will accomplish
John
all
DeSantis,
of those
TA is
things
free, buddy.
in the light
Bond has
of
been
the
set.
totality of all the circumstances
$1 million.
and ultimately the interest of justice.
And
Yes,
he
sir.
will
Thank
not
you very
have
much.
any ankle
Anything from the
monitoring.
state?
Nothing else, mistake. Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, do we have any concluding?
We can conclude the hearing now, and now we can talk about it for a few moments. So just to recap, if you're just now joining, like Mr. John DeSantis This was a long morning. Man, over 3.5 hours of deliberation, testimony by the prosecutor that did not lend any credibility to their case. Exactly what I said on Sunday night. You go back and watch Sunday night's live stream. It's about an hour long. When I said this case just had a wild turn. When I read through the pretrial motion and what they were offering or proffering to the court to hold TA in detention, I didn't find one shred of evidence. I didn't find anything that was not hearsay involved in that pretrial detention motion. Now, I'm not an attorney, but to me, this is pretty black and white. I don't think the prosecutor has shit. And the text messages that they're referring to, if you've noticed today, and this was said by his attorney, Terrion Arnold's attorney, not one text message came from TA. Now, to the asshole, excuse my French, that posted on Twitter the other day that I responded to, that said that they had information that TA's text messages were going to put him in prison, that he was implicated, that it was his messages. Well, guess what? It's from the same idiots that are on at 7 a.m. Always lying, always clickbaiting, always causing drama. Can't stand it. And especially in a high-profile case like this, we need to do better than that. The One Pride has been shook up over the last couple of weeks simply because of this case. And we've seen a lot of people go really far left, really far right with their ideals and ideas, and have totally thrown TA under the bus. And I hope that today, even though the judge found probable cause, which I think is a reach, but he wants to hear the state's case. And it wasn't like this was going to get thrown out. However, I do believe that this attorney will be filing a motion to quash and a motion to throw out this entire case. And if he doesn't, there may be a plea bargain, because that's what they want to do. They want to trump you up on all these charges, force you to look at life in prison, minimum, amount of 30 probably plus years, and get him to plead all the way down to a simple conspiracy charge, which still carries, I think, a minimum of 10 in the state of Florida, and get TA to probably serve, hopefully nothing, but probably a long time on probation is what I would expect from a plea. I don't think that they're going to plead this out. I think either the state's going to drop it or this defense is going to defend it, and they're going to eat it alive. But again, if you're just now joining, Terrion Arnold, his bond was set at $1 million on 8 counts, 150,000 times 4, 100,000 times 1, or I'm sorry, 100,000 times 4. 10% of that bond will have to be paid. It's a mere drop in the bucket for Terrion Arnold, $100,000, and he will be able to bond himself out. The judge did agree with the defense that Terrion Arnold should be able to go to work if he's allowed to go back to work. Therefore, he will not have ankle monitoring bracelet. He is remanded to his home and to his work and to travel for appointments related to this case, training, whatever is allowed, or forced by the NFL. He will be able to do those things. TA may be not only got the shit scared out of him, but I sure hope he never has to surround himself by any other idiots. He needs to move the hell out of Florida. You might as well just move to Michigan, find some new friends, hang around your team, start over. Can't do that now, but maybe when this case is done, he'll have an opportunity to. But I'm glad that, this judge during this proceeding, you could tell he had doubt from the very beginning. And from the very beginning, he was pushing back at the prosecutor and like, what do you really have? You don't really have anything. And they don't. They don't have anything. No text messages ever came from Terrion Arnold. And we haven't even gotten into what I said last night in that live stream, was that all of the location services, your maps, Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever maps you use, your car, all of that stuff would be able to exonerate or implicate Terrion Arnold. And I think if he's truly not involved in this, other than knowing what was going on, then he should be exonerated. What I didn't understand is his attorney even allowed the judge to hear that TA was there, that he was present at the apartment, that he did pick up Dalval and take her away. And if I misunderstood that, either he was saying that this is all the prosecution has, and if this is all they have, that he showed up, picked her up, and they left, well, that doesn't say that he went into the apartment. That doesn't say he brandished a weapon. Doesn't say that he put a weapon in anybody's mouth. Doesn't say that he beat anybody. None of that stuff. So I think that either he was agreeing with the prosecutor and just trying to say, you really don't have anything, or he was allowing the prosecutor to say he was at least at the scene. And for that reason, I pointed out last night that the individuals that were able to identify all of the perpetrators in this case, or the co-conspirators in this case, Bolkahaya Hilton, Christian Williams, Del Val, Randazzo, the others, yada, yada, yada. Well, the people that were beat up, right, the 3 victims in this case, they identified these co-conspirators with a photo mock-up, right? And they never once identified Terrion Arnold. They never once said that they saw Terrion Arnold. And one of the bigger things that came out today that I felt was going to be really powerful for this case moving forward is that when Terrion Arnold's attorney said that there was 4 individuals, and even the prosecutor, I don't know why he would say this or why he would use this, but that Ariana Del Val, if I have the name right, it wasn't Randazzo, it was Del Val, had 4 friends in a car waiting outside of this location where this alleged beating happened, right? Well, I guess it's not alleged now. It's already been proven. And those individuals have already been charged and are currently sitting in the clink. Those 4 individuals, those 4 girls that were, or at least assumed all girls, were in this vehicle. They have not been testified. They have not said that Terrion Arnold was ever there. They have not said that Terrion Arnold was involved. So if you had 4 individuals sitting outside the apartment, you're telling me that they never once saw Terrion Arnold's car? Right? They never saw Terrion Arnold sit in a car? They never saw anybody enter or exit or enter Terrion Arnold's car? That's powerful for the defense, that there's potentially 4 other witnesses sitting there. And then what about the electronics at the apartment complex or this building or this home or whatever it is? Cameras? Ring cameras? Any witnesses that live next door, above or below? Did they see anything? I can't believe that no one didn't hear anything at 1 o'clock in the morning or midnight, people yelling and screaming, punching people. I mean, a fight's loud. So I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't believe they have shit on TA. I really don't. I think that this case is going to end up going in TA's favor at some point. The bigger question is today, what's going to happen with the NFL? Because you know that they've been, tightly monitoring this situation. And now the question becomes, is the NFL going to render Terrion Arnold exempt and that he will no longer be able to play until this case is finished? And even at that time, when this case is finished, will he then be suspended? So, which I don't like that about the NFL. I think that if you beat your case, there's no reason why you should then be suspended from the NFL. I mean, I get it, the code of conduct and all the rules that, these players have to live by and through. They have to walk a fine line with what they do in life. But in this case, if Terrion Arnold is truly absent from the scene and truly not involved, yet his friends took this way beyond what Terrion Arnold was expecting or had advised or asked to happen, then that's on them. TA is just guilty of the stupid tax, like everyone's been saying, hanging around the wrong people that do the wrong kinds of things. And for that reason, TA's dumb. Like, dude, you got to get your life together and you need to get rid of all these people. You have everything staring at you. Then it could be gone now, right? And I'll speak to what I think the Lions could be looking at. I've been pretty vocal about the fact that this is a distraction, a major distraction, even if TA is innocent, okay? And right now he's innocent until proven guilty, and today he won. Even if he's innocent, going through this whole process, there's going to be a lot of time taken away from his football. It's going to be a huge distraction to him as well as the team. And I don't believe that Dan Campbell is in the business of distractions right now. They have a big enough distraction, and that is winning football games, right? They have a big enough distraction, and that is maintaining the standard of this team. And the standard is the standard. They want good quality people, players, men on this team. And I'm not saying the TA is not one of them, but this legal situation is massive. This isn't, and I'm not trying to shed light on this. This isn't domestic violence. Okay. This isn't a speeding car with weed in the car, going 120 miles an hour and crashing. This isn't even, who was the receiver a couple of years ago that I believe struck and killed a lady while driving. And he was going to be like one of the best receivers in the league. What was his name? My goodness, can't remember his name. But anyway, he just got let out. I think, after a 2-year stint. Ruggs. Wasn't it Henry Ruggs? I think it was Henry Ruggs. But he just got out after a 2-year stint. This isn't even that. And that, there was a life that was lost. This is major, right? You're talking life in prison, kidnapping, right? Robbery and conspiracy, all the above. So I think for that reason, and I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't feel a certain way if the Lions did dismiss him from the team. Now, contractually, I don't know what that means, as far as you have a contract. Did the player violate the code of conduct rules? Did he violate the ethics rules? And if so, then they have a leg to stand on where they could void his contract. They could dismiss the player. They could release the player. They could then ask or fight for all of his money in return, yada, yada, yada. They may not do that. And they may do that. And so I guess my position on the whole thing is I don't see TA playing this year. It would be a big shock. It would be a big surprise if that did happen. But I don't see him playing this year simply because I think the distraction is going to be too great, and I don't see this case getting over by September. I'm sure that the defense wants a fair and speedy trial. I mean, just jury selection alone could take a couple of months. So this case could continue well on to 2027 if they really wanted to drag it out, or it could be wrapped up by October. And right now we're already missing a handful of players out of that secondary due to injury and coming back. We don't know what's up with Kirby. We don't know what's up with Brian Branch and their returns. And so this is it's a major inflection point for the team. So I wouldn't be surprised, if he's placed on the exempt list and the NFL acts today. I have a feeling that we may find out later on this afternoon that the NFL has made a decision. And if we hear it, I'll let you know. Of course, it'll be all over social media when it is released, if it is released today. But those are the next steps. What will the NFL do? And if the NFL does nothing, what will the Lions do? And will they give TA an opportunity to continue to play? It sounds like at least the defense is thinking he's going to be able to play. Now, that doesn't mean that that's a foregone conclusion. That doesn't mean that TA is going to be up in Michigan in 4 weeks. But he could be. And I guess I want to ask you the question. Do you think that distraction is too great for the Lions and their chances this year to do something that they have never done, which is to win a Super Bowl? Would you want the distraction? Again, I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just saying sometimes the distraction is far greater than the actual offense. And in this case, it's kind of both. I wish him nothing but the best, man. I've been trying to back the guy since the beginning. I think I have enough receipts on this channel of that. And please do me a favor. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel and you like the kind of content you're seeing here, a couple times a year, we get some really, 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 really solid content that will span hundreds of thousands of views. And in this case, I don't think that'll happen with this case, but I think the fallout is going to be great. And I think that this trial is going to be huge. And I'm going to be right here making sure I provide every ounce of it that I can to y'all to have a place to communicate, talk about it, and have a space where people can just be people. Your opinions are welcome, right? I don't care what they are. Just make sure y'all do us a favor and just try to follow the rules of the channel, treat people with respect. That's all we ever ask. Man, JJ, I hope you're right. Judge is a Lions fan. He'll be at the Super Bowl in Honolulu Blue. That would be crazy. So that prosecutor, like Dwayne Keene says, was weak with evidence for TA trying to get him guilty. Man, look, that whole thing was a shit show. Like a complete shit show. I have never seen a prosecutor that inept at trying to prove anything. I don't even know if the dude could tie his shoes or even create a case as to why he couldn't tie his shoes. It was bad, and I hate to make light of it because the state could bring in another attorney. That's likely. I just don't think they have anything, and I think their case is resting on the testimony. And I was happy to hear the judge say, "You have a further hill to climb. You know, beyond the probable cause, you have a much further hill to climb because you're using two witnesses that have admitted guilt as your star witnesses in this case, and they're felons." I'm glad that he said that. I think that they have a fair judge so far. I think he's a very fair judge. You could tell from the beginning that he was doubtful. And you know, early I think I was trying to say, I've never seen where a judge really was trying to like lead a witness or guide a witness. And I, at the beginning, I thought that he was kind of doing that. But now I'm thinking that he was really just trying to understand. And things were so confusing because it was such BS that he had to ask some questions that maybe you wouldn't hear in a normal hearing. And maybe had to lead the witness a little bit just so he could get the facts out. But I'll tell you what, when that attorney jumped up and decided, you know, I'm full go on this guy, zero blitz on this witness, he went all out. And he impeached that witness numerous times. There are so many facts in this case that he disproved. I can't wait to see him with a couple of months of time to really prepare, because remember, this was all prepared in less than 72 hours? Roughly 72 hours. From Denver to Miami, and in 72 hours, these guys prepared this case. That's pretty impressive. Probably flew a nice little private jet down just to gain a little bit of time. At the end of the day, some of my final notes were, you don't know who participated in the group text. That's hearsay. No messages ever came from Terrion Arnold, and anybody saying otherwise, that Arnold told me to say this, that's hearsay. There was no way that Ridgway could have seen the phone during the FaceTime, so anything that he said, even though he was in the vehicle, is hearsay. Because if he couldn't see it, and he couldn't hear it, which he openly admitted into court, the prosecutor said he couldn't hear it, or the investigator said he couldn't hear it, couldn't see it, well, then how can you speak to it? And how can you use that as testimony? Dude can't see it, can't hear it. There was another bit of info that came up talking about the hotel, you know, doing this at a hotel, and someone saying that there was cameras at the hotel, shouldn't do it there. But in no way did anyone say that TA said that, or they don't really have proof that TA said that. They don't have any text messages from TA to anyone else that proves that he said that. Any text to Jasmine from Ariana Del Val is hearsay, with Ariana or Del Valle saying that, Terrion said this. Hearsay. You can't prove that. You can't prove hearsay. Hearsay is hearsay. That's like me telling you right now, Brad Holmes said that, he's going to go out and trade for Pat Surtain. It's hearsay. I don't know that, but I heard that. I heard that from somebody that heard that from somebody. That's what this case is all about. It's like the game of telephone. But on the other end, you're already 10 people removed from the actual fact. It's a game of telephone that this prosecutor is playing today. And he didn't win. And this is going to be the first of many losses. So damn good job by TA's attorneys. And it was hard for TA not to smile. I would highly advise not to do that. Stay stoic. Don't smile, even though you've won. Judges don't like that. But I'm sure he's thinking, okay, I'm not in prison. I could potentially still play football. He's happy about the outcome. And he should be, but he can't smile. Can't smile. So good stuff. Anything else you guys want to chat about before I get out of here? It's been a long 4 hours. 4.5 hours so far. Still 236 watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll love to have you guys along. We do morning shows. Typically, it's from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., sometimes to 11 a.m., sometimes to 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. each and every Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, we'll have an opportunity to break all this down with Eric. Eric will be back on tomorrow, I believe. So, looks like we got a few subscribers off of today's long stream, but man, we should have had at least 50 or 100, y'all. So, get in there and subscribe and turn on notifications when we go live, when we post the video. We'll be right here. All good? It was Rob Parker, the prosecutor. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. They got about the same outcome, right? See, man, Ophenix, and there was someone else that was really hammering on TA. Ophenix, I don't remember how much if you were hammering on TA, but there was someone else that was really hammering on TA in one of my chats the other day. And I kept telling y'all, like, they don't have shit. They don't. And that's just from reading this pretrial motion, man. They don't have a damn thing. And like I said, even during today's testimony, they impeached themselves on what they filed. You know, might have to, I'm sure they already know, but might have to send a little email over there like, hey, they impeached themselves on this on the stand. They impeached themselves. That's crazy. You know, typically you would see a guy that's, you know, here's this text message. Where did it come from? Who did it go to? At what time? What did it say? They didn't do that. They didn't do any of that. And they didn't say on FaceTime, there was this person that started the FaceTime and this person answered it on this phone. Well, what other phones answered it? Well, we heard it was only Hilton's phone, not TA. Which, again, I think it all points to TA should be able to walk away from this. He's not 100% guiltless, but he is not guilty of these 8 major, you know, offenses that he's being charged with. He's not guilty of that. He's guilty of stupidity, and he'll be guilty of something, but it's not going to be that. I would be highly surprised unless the state comes back with some concrete evidence. I don't see how they win this case. I think the TA will be just fine. So I guess we'll find out over the next couple of months, maybe a week. Maybe we'll get some good news next week that this gets thrown out. I wouldn't be surprised on that either. All right, I'm out of here. You guys are great. Appreciate y'all for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. All right, adios. Congratulations to TA and TA's attorney. This is why you are innocent until proven guilty. Until next time, y'all don't do stupid shit, okay? Stupid stuff wins stupid prizes. We don't need that.
Pressured by